sound live, so hopefully we'll all sound nice. And here comes our transition screen. Okie doke. We are here. This is game one of our charity stream, and it's benefiting the United Way of NorCal as we get ready to raise some money for wildfire evacuee relief. This is California's most costly and also, unfortunately, life costly forest fire that we've ever had. And so, for me personally, this is close enough to home where I can smell it, but not close enough where we're in danger. And it's something I'm dealing with every day. I've had excellent support from people in the gaming community, especially Welcome to the Party and Scraticus. Between those two discords, we filled almost every seat in every game. And within about 2 hours, it's not like it took a long time. It is glorious and fantastic. And I don't know how to say enough nice things about them. But let some people say nice things about themselves. So let's start over here on my side with Throck. Throck, would you like to say nice things about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Throck, also known as Sean. Good morning. I only get up this early for charity, and so I'm really happy to be here. I am a co-founder and DM of Welcome to the Party. We're an inclusion and equity-based channel that teaches people how to stream and gives them a place to do it. And I'm really excited to be here. So, hi. This is my first time playing Numenera.
And it is an excellent game, and I know you will love it. But if not, that's okay too. And thank you again for coming out and joining us. Let's see, Zan, I think you're next in my view. Would you go?
Awesome. Hi, I'm Zan. This is also my first time playing Numenera, but during the daytime, I teach theater, but otherwise I like playing a whole lot of games. And that's pretty much me. I'm not nearly as cool as Throck.
Oh, I'm not cool. Don't let anyone tell you that.
Everyone's pretty cool. Okay, and last and definitely not least, we have Jane. Jane, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Jane, also known as Cellador 10. You can find me on Tuesday nights playing over at Roll Control, a D&D game over there. I've played a couple charity streams and one-shots, and I've really enjoyed it. And unlike Throck, I have a sleep disorder, so I wake up at 6:30 a.m. every single day. So I've been up for an hour and a half already.
I wake up early, and it's
So I'm
mostly
good.
because of commuting and stuff like that. That doesn't sound pleasant at all.
It's actually really good. It has made things better.
Okay.
But also this is also my first time playing Numenera, so I'm excited.
You know what? I gotta admit, this is my favorite game to teach people. And the reason that I really like Numenera is because it breaks down a lot of boundaries in terms of gaming. No game is perfect. I don't think there's such a thing as that, probably, right? Because we all want things out of it. Hopefully, we can make it perfect together. But as we go through this, the thing I really like about Numenera is it's very player facing. Pretty much everything you do is in your control, and I have no dice I have to roll. I've already established like things that I think have to happen in the game, and I can change it as I go. But I never have to say, "Oops, I rolled a 20." Sorry about that. And you guys get to say, "Yeah, I rolled a 20," and you don't have to be sorry about that at all. So I generally find that to be a very nice match. Let's talk a little bit about Numenera as we get into our character creation, since we're not totally 100% on our characters, right? So, as a game, first off, Numenera is a product by Monty Cook Games. They just finished Kickstarter for Invisible Sun, which is, they've got like 4 big game products right now, and that's the only one that doesn't use the Cypher system. Numenera, the Cypher system, the Strange, all use the same basic system, which is rolling a d20, and you're trying to get high numbers. The best number you can get is 20, and then getting like a 19, 18, 17, they all generally have good effects as well. So, let's see. Any questions so far? That's the simple stuff. Okay, so a character has 3 parts that we're going to be going through today and making sure we feel tuned in on. They have a type, a descriptor, and a focus. So your type is your general like character class meta type. We've got things like Nano, Jack, Glaive, Arcus, Delve, Right. I think I got them all. I think there might be one extra. But those are all the general Numenera new edition types. You have descriptors, which are things that talk about how your character acts. A way to think of a cipher character sentence is as a sentence. So you had your noun, which is your type. You have your adjective, which is your descriptor, such as fast or smart or clever. And then you have a descriptor. Focus that goes at the end. And that is your super cool power that you get to have and nobody else necessarily has. So there are a lot of fun components here. And when you get into doing a character creation system or session for Numenera, the best part is just reading through the book and having like choice paralysis for an hour or two, and then finally just picking the one that you think sounds coolest for the game you want to play. So that's pretty much where we are as we start things out. Okay, so I'm going to go into Roll20. I've got some character sheets open here. The character sheet for Numenera in the base book is probably the only thing I will ever say is really like tough on the Monte Cook game side. There are a lot of things on a character sheet that are very different, and the one that's actually in the character or in the game book is beautiful, and it makes it very tough for people to figure out what they're doing when they first look at it. This one I picked because it's a little bit simpler, so hopefully we can all learn this in the next few minutes and feel good. Let's see. Is anybody logged into character 1?
I'm in 4, I think.
Okay. 4 is
I
cool.
think I took 2.
Okay. No wrong choices.
I think 3 is still open, so
Sure.
Jane, is that you on 1?
This is always a fun part. Is
Let me close mine out so get the name updated here. Doink. Yeah, mine's updated. All right.
Maybe I am 1. I don't remember. Hold
okay. Well, so we've got the first part. Let's start with type. That's usually a good place to start as we go through character creation. So has everybody decided on the type of character they want to play?
Yes.
Okay, so Throck,
Yes.
what's your type going to
I'm going to be a delve.
be? Okay. Delves are pretty cool. So you're looking at finding stuff, exploring. That's always a good match for a game. Numenera is a game about exploration, not necessarily combat. So you don't have to get experience points through hitting things with swords and so forth. You get them through looking for things and finding things in the game. So that's a great choice, a delve. Okay, and Zan?
I went with a nano.
Nano is great. Nano is like your techno wizard in a lot of cases. They've got a lot of fun abilities. I have always enjoyed seeing people play nanos. Okay, and Jane, what did you go with? I think you're muted.
Sorry, I went with a Jack.
Okay, great. And Jack, the fun thing about the Jack is the flexibility. You get that roguelike quality where you can be good at a lot of stuff, and games always, they seem to revolve around skills, which is something Jacks are great at. So in your character sheet, there should be a place for type. That's going to be the easiest part. And that gives you a lot of basic calculations to start the game out. So since we're doing this as a big session, we might as well start by making sure your pools are filled in. The important thing to know about Numenera for these pools is that these determine both your ability to stay in the game. They are like your hit points and your like resource there. But they're additionally what you can spend if you want to do something better. So, for example, if you say, well, my character is really strong, so I should be good at strong stuff, the easy way to do that is to spend out of your might pool that you're going to take 3 points out of that to equal 1 point of effort. And there is a slightly more complex calculation when we get into Edge, which we'll get to in just a second. Okay, so I'm grabbing the Delve character type here, and Throck, if we go through that, you're a Delve. You start out with your base pools. Have you already done this?
I have.
Oh man, you're so
So
prepared.
Yeah, I'm trying to be prepared.
That's awesome.
So it looks like I have 9 might, 9 speed, and 9 intellect.
Correct. And then from that, you additionally get to spend 6 points. So
Oh.
there's no wrong answer here. You can be a balanced person if that's how you like to play games, and if not, you don't have to do that.
I will balance out.
Okay. So we'll come back to you for final numbers. Zan, you said that you were going to be doing... I'm forgetting I have too many windows for my brain. Okay, so you're going to be doing a nano.
Yes.
And so-
And I believe I already put that in and added the 6 to various places. And I'm a little more balanced, I think.
Okay.
Not quite completely, but
Very cool. All right. And then Jane, let's see. Have you done your pools yet?
Yeah, I got my pools in. So Jacks start with 10 across the board and then can just put 6 wherever they want.
Yep.
So yeah, so I've done that.
Cool. So that's the most basic, easiest first step for doing your type. If you happen to stay right there by where you saw your stat pools, they give you your first tier options. So in Numenera, you don't have levels, you have tiers, and there are 6 tiers to characters. They're all pretty powerful and intense one by one, but as you go up in progression, you start at a tier, you do incremental advancements that give you some of the abilities for the next tier, and then you're on the next tier. And I like that because it gives you a way to feel rewarded every time you make a decision, and it helps you develop your character, so leveling up doesn't feel so slow. And I think overall, going from tier 1, for example, to tier 2, it tends to be a pretty powerful change. So there's lots of nice stuff there. Okay, so the person I'm the least familiar with here is the Delve. So let's see what kind of cool first tier stuff we have for Delve. Okay, it says you win the game. No.
Yep, yeah, look at that.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're done.
So you have an effort of 1. That means that when you want to
Mm-hmm.
make a task easier for yourself, you can do it a max of 1 step. And
Okay.
that can be already plenty because there's only 10 levels of difficulty in the game. So if something gets to be a 10, it's actually impossible for you to do it on the die by itself. So that makes it a little bit more possible.
Okay.
And now you have edges of 1 in intellect, 1 in speed, and 0 in might. And what that means is anytime you spend effort to get that lower down, you're spending 1 less in both intellect and speed. So instead of spending 3, you spend 2.
Oh, okay.
So, yep. Okay, it says cipher use. You get 2 ciphers at a time. I think only the Nano is going to have more than 2 ciphers. Ciphers are super cool. They are essentially one-shot magic items or special items that you get in the game that will make things much better for you. They have a random level. They make life very interesting.
Awesome.
Yep. And it says you can use light and medium weapons, but you have inability with heavy weapons. So in skills, we have trained and specialized are good things. Inability is the opposite. So when it says
Okay.
it says inability and hindered, that's the same thing. It's basically saying if something became a difficulty 5 and you decide to swing a like warhammer at it, now it's going to be a 6. You're going to like that less.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so your trained skills are salvaging Numenera. You get to pick an exploration skill, and it gives you several options here that I won't read right now. But you also
I
have
want
an
perception.
inability. Yeah, perception's great. You have an inability in crafting Numenera and understanding Numenera. So that's no fun.
Which seemed weird to me.
Yeah, I think you're really good at breaking stuff, and you're not really good at putting it back together.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like that.
You
That-
find
that
it,
sounds
but
accurate.
you're not the one that's analyzing it.
I think this
Yeah.
really comes down to like a game design like perspective. They can't give you all the cool stuff all at once, so
Yeah.
I can appreciate it when you have the right group. And here you've got a Nano and a Jack, so I think
Yeah.
you may be in the right group for this. Okay, now the Community
Look what I
Explorer. Yeah, we'll see if this comes up. But basically, what it's saying is if you're in a community, the community is going to get some benefits from you. You're raising their rank. And again, everything that is not you 3 people have levels. So if something says it goes up by 1 level, that's a very significant advantage. So that's all good stuff. And if you don't mind, I'm going to skip reading your starting equipment and let you just go through
Sure,
that
yeah.
stuff. I don't know if the Delve has the same excellent benefit as the other classes where it gives you some suggested, starting ciphers on the
Yes.
next page. I would go with that. And then there will be some Delve lore
Delve.
options here.
I picked them already.
Excellent. Would you like to mention what those are?
Yeah, I picked right tool for the job as long as I have 1 iota, which is it's from context it feels like stuff you get from breaking down Numenera.
Exactly correct.
Okay. You can fashion a temporary device that provides an asset to physical non-combat tasks. And there's nothing in there. But it is I can make something real quick. I can jury rig something to help me do something non-combat related. And then find the way that when we're navigating, I am better at finding our way to get unlost or to find a new way someplace.
I think that's really cool because what you were just mentioning before about being unable to craft Numenera, I think this kind of
Yeah.
plays in with that in a fun way where you can still craft Numenera. They're going to be short term.
Right.
They're going to be useful to you still. So they don't take away from what you're able to do. They just really emphasize you're a good jury rigger.
Yes.
So I think that's actually very cool.
Yeah, that is fun.
Okay, and we talked about applying effort. For example, find the way. So right there, you notice you can apply a free level of effort. You only get 1 level of effort. So that means whenever you want to use find the way, you've basically just gotten it for free, but it's not going to get any
Yeah.
better than that.
Cool.
Okay, real quick, as I go into reading the nano descriptions with Zan, I wanted to mention also, when we talk about these levels of difficulty, this can be kind of like a tough thing to understand about Numenera at first. So everything is on a scale where you're rolling a d20, you're trying to go high. Everything is in steps of 3. So if something says it's level 1, you need to roll a 3. If it's level 2, you need to roll a 6. And this goes on, so to roll a level 10, you have to roll a 30 on the die. There's really never a modifier more than +1 or +2, so you will not make a level 10 test on a die. So you have to have skills, you have to spend effort. So as things get up there to those higher levels, just understand that spending out of your pools is really an expected part of the game. For people who are playing like a lot of like more rigid systems where you already know what your abilities are, it can be kind of like a mind change. I think you guys are all in a good place to understand it. Okay, so Zan, are you ready to talk first tier nano stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so you've got the effort of 1, you've
Hmm.
got the intellect edge of 1, 0 in might and speed. You can get 3 ciphers, which is super cool because eventually you're just going to want to have your hands full of ciphers all the time.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, if you decide to carry more than 3 ciphers, etc., just go for it because there's a really cool random table in the book where things like black holes can happen. And I mean, this is a one shot. If we're going to destroy the universe, we
Nice.
might as well just destroy the universe, right?
This is the time to do it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Get that wild magic up in here.
There might be a better timeline out there. You never know. So, okay, let's see. You can use light weapons without penalty, but you have inability with medium and heavy, like we talked about with Throck. You are
Mhm.
trained in understanding Numenera. That's arguably the most important skill in the entire game. It's right there on the cover.
Nice.
And we've got starting equipment, which I'm going to just go past. If you want to take the starting ciphers, those work really well for me, because then you can see what
Yeah.
they are right away. And then, did you pick esoteries?
I did not.
Okay.
I could pick
So-
2 of these.
Yeah,
Okay.
and what I will do, if you don't mind, is I will pan away over to working with, I almost said Jill because I'm looking at Jack. That doesn't work. Jane. And see what we're looking at.
It's a
in-
J
Sure.
name. It's fine.
Oh yeah, I'm totally paying attention. And we'll look at some Jack options real quick.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the Jack stat pools. We're on the first tier Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got an effort of 1 like everybody else. And you
Mhm.
get to pick where you want to put your edge. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I put it into intellect.
Okay, very cool. Makes a lot of sense. You've got 2 ciphers you can use at one time. You can use the light and the medium weapons, but enable with the heavy, just like Throck. So I don't think any of you are going to pick up a Warhammer. And you get to pick a skill of your choice and become trained in it. That's different than your flex skill. And Numenera skills are very like player designed, player oriented. So do you have a skill you want?
Yeah, I picked deceiving. And then I haven't picked my flex skill yet for the day. I was gonna see what other people had and pick something that was.
That's a great play because you can do that
Yeah.
just whenever you want, and if you don't remember it before we have officially started our adventure, you could just do it then.
Cool.
I think that's part of the fun of being Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And you do notice it says you can't double up on something and become specialized. You just get a different skill you can be trained in. Okay, it's got your
Yeah,
starting equipment
for the
and your
flex.
ciphers there that it recommends for you. Did you pick tricks of the trade?
Yes, I picked face morph and link senses, both of which are intellect based.
Those are both pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you're going to be able to make your face look like somebody else. That's going to be pretty awesome. And then you've got the other one, touch a willing creature and link your senses to theirs. That's really cool. That's a very
Yeah.
like D&D wizard type move. Okay. Now, something I want to point out is you notice for all of these abilities, if they have a cost where it says like 2 intellect points, remember those are the
Yeah.
same pools you're using as like hit point pools. And if you have an edge, you reduce that cost. So I think both of yours are intellect based, which makes a lot of sense. And then if you're spending on them, you're spending 1 less point.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. So you seem pretty set.
The face morph is 2 plus
Yeah.
intellect. What does that mean?
That's a good question. So looking at it here,
It doesn't say anything about spending additional.
Yeah.
I don't know.
well, it says you must apply a level of effort to be able to impersonate a different species. So what that means is in that case, you still would spend like you're spending 2, but also you have to spend effort. I believe
okay.
that's
I
what the 2
understand.
plus is for.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
You guys have taken to this so well and quickly. It's excellent. Okay. Zan, did you take a look at the esoteries?
Yes. I am liking hedge magic for sure. And then, oh, what was the other one? Why can't I find it? Oh, scan.
Yeah. Scan is my personal thing that I always go to if I have to do a nano character. They're both great. They have a lot of use. So let's see, both of these. I think Hedge Magic is going to have no cost at all for you because it's got an intellect of 1 and you've got an edge of 1. And then Scan is only going
Right.
to cost you 1 point. Okay, that's the other thing in terms of points. On the sheet, we have Recovery. Let me find Recovery on the sheet. Okay, Recovery is down in the middle. It's below the gray box for action and initiative. This is kind of an important thing to know just because it makes it easier to use your pools. So your recovery is your tier plus 1. So where it says plus 1 here, what's going to happen is you're basically rolling a d6 and you're adding 1 to it. And your first recovery roll you can take with 1 action of time. So you can say, okay, this next round I'm just going to recover points from my pool. In the next one, you have to spend 10 minutes, and then an hour, and then 10 hours. So this is kind of similar to a D&D rest mechanic. But the idea is if you want to recover, you can recover by rolling a die, getting that number, so it's a d6 plus 1, so it's going to be between 2 and 7, and then you're going to be able to apply that many points back to a pool to refresh from what you've spent. So it is a good idea to make use of that regularly in the game as you can find time to. And what else do I want to throw in there? Oh, I don't know if it's an actual rule in the book that you're not allowed to split those points between pools, but if that is a rule, I routinely ignore it. So go ahead and put them wherever you feel like you need to. Okay, so does anybody have any questions right now in terms of character stuff?
Nope.
I think we're okay.
Okay, and then I'm looking real quick. Now, none of your starting ciphers have a level next to them, and starting ciphers have levels, so that'll be something we're going to figure out in just a second. Does everybody have a character name at this point?
Yep.
Oh, I should
so.
probably come up with one.
No, it's cool. That's why I wanted to say it at some point here, so we had like a little time for you to think about it. So I'll get those on the overlay in a second, but before we do that, let's take a look at the ciphers for the delve so that we can get Throck all set up here. Okay, so Throck.
It doesn't. I couldn't find them in either Discovery or the Player's Guide. It doesn't
Really
say.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me see what I can find. So, Discovery. Dun dun dun. This is my expert PDF bookmarking skills, hopefully. We've got Chapter 6, the Numenera. Chapter 17, or it should be Part 6 of Numenera. Chapter 17 is Ciphers, Cipher List. And we'll plus up on those a few times. Now, the problem is you're a delve, so you're probably in Destiny. You probably have special delve ciphers.
Oh.
Yeah, so 3 of the character types are in Numenera Destiny because they deal more with group rules and things like that. So let me see what I can do here.
I picked a name, by the way.
Awesome. Okay.
It's in the Roll20.
Very cool. Okay. I'm looking somewhere else, and we'll look at that in just a moment. Organize my name. Okay, Numenera Destiny. There we go. That took just a second. Too many files.
Too many files. Too many files.
My mind went there as well.
Yay!
Okay, so this is part 3, chapter 9, ciphers, and let's see. Let's see what kind of cool ciphers we have for Throck. Okay, that gave me nothing there.
Oops.
This is probably down after all the plans and everything like that.
Right.
Okay. When you have to get to the search function, I mean, that's fine, but... Find... Okay. Throck, what's the name of your first cipher?
Phasing gloves.
That sounds cool.
It does sound
Sounds
cool.
I know.
cool.
That's like really cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't let Throck shake your hand if it was me.
I can't. I'll phase right through it.
Right.
I'll try and I'll be sad.
Okay, pro side search worked out really well. So we've got phasing
Yay.
gloves. Phasing gloves are level 1d6 plus 1. If you would like to roll a d6 through whatever measure you prefer.
All right. 5.
Ooh, good. Okay, so level 6, I mean, that's pretty good in the game. There's very few things that are going to beat a level 6. And in Roll20 here, I will drop into the main chat the description of your excellent phasing gloves.
Excellent.
Ooh.
They are really cool.
But as a cipher, I only ever get to use them once, right?
Yeah,
And then they're
but
done.
how long do they last for? Yep,
I don't know.
it does not look like they're going to last for very long. This is pretty much... Oh, it says they can selectively phase through. Well, when you get some experience points, you can try to make a cipher more permanent.
Yeah.
That may not be a viable option in this case.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so what's your number 2 cipher?
Travel bubble.
I think Throck is just purposely saying things so they sound cool.
I know. I am a bubble of travel.
This is also a D6, but plus 4 this time.
Wow.
Yeah, this could be good.
Plus 4. Oink. 9. Whoosh.
Whoa, okay. Well, here's your description for it. I don't actually know that Roll20 is the best format for this, because this all looks terrible looking at it personally.
I don't see the descriptions in chat
Yeah,
yet.
maybe it's like truncating it or something. If I'm scrolling down, I see it, but do you guys see it?
I don't.
No? In the chat window it didn't come through, huh?
You're not in our Roll20 right now, though.
I'm not in your
That
Roll20?
may be
Am I
why.
in the wrong Roll20?
You
That's a
might be.
possibility.
That might
Yeah.
be why you couldn't figure out where our character sheets were.
Yes, that is actually why. Today is apparently not Sunday.
Aha!
Okay. Thank you guys for your help. This is why, yeah.
Y'all, DM problems though. Like the number of times, like, cause I DM on Roll20 every week, and the number of times I've been like in the wrong layer or like on the wrong map, and I'm like, why can't you see me pinging you guys? Like, you can go here.
I'm just
Why
glad
can't
it's
you
not
see
just
this?
me.
Oh, I'm in the dynamic lighting layer. Oh, okay. Well, you're not gonna see that. It happens every week.
Okay. Well, here I go into the correct game. Pro side, it'll really confuse the people tomorrow, and if they don't enjoy that, that's okay, but I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rain, I don't think there's enough coffee for this. This is probably just a personal issue.
User error problems.
Uh-huh, yep. Yeah, the problem is me and all the stuff I did. Let's see. Buttons, buttons, buttons. So now I see all these cool people over here with their avatars and stuff. So that's looking good. I'm going to turn those off, not because I don't like you guys, but just because I don't have that much space open here for stuff. Okay, scrolling and rolling, that's doing its thing. And now, am I in the correct game?
Mm?
I'm getting there. I pushed some buttons and it's reloading on me.
I was gonna say you were there for a moment, and then
Yeah, I pushed a button.
Yay, technology.
Oh, that's
There
my
you
own fault for
are.
pushing a
Yeah.
button, right? I mean, that's how it works.
Yay.
Okay, so here's our travel bubble.
Travel bubble. I just like saying it. Aha.
it is.
Perfect.
Yeah, I even heard the sound that time.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we're going to go up to our phasing gloves.
All right.
Okay, and Zan, do you have your cipher list?
Yes, I do. And I think I found the descriptions for them, but I will need to roll their levels.
Cool, okay. Do the descriptions include the levels?
Let's see. They are all, yes, they do.
Wow.
They do. I just have to go back and find the individual ones now. So the first thing I have is gravity nullifying spray,
Yes.
which is really freaking cool.
This is the game we're playing, people. This is how it goes, yeah.
Yeah. And that is a D6 plus 2. We'll do that. So 2 plus 2.
Okay, 4 is good. 4 will help you with a lot of stuff.
I then have a telepathy implant. And the one thing about that is that it says there are like 3 different kinds. Does it matter? Because there's an internal one, a wearable, and a usable.
Which one do you
One.
like?
I like the wearable one.
Sure.
So it's a disc that adheres to the forehead as a temporary tattoo, which is fun. But that is a D6 plus 2.
Okay.
Five, so 7.
Good stuff.
And lastly, a teleporter. Which we have the wearable or usable one, and I think I will go with usable as a handheld device, and that is a D6 plus 4. Max roll, that's a level 10.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy that at some point during the game.
Yes.
That is great.
Awesome.
Good for you. Okay. It's always good when you start the game by knowing you've already won, and you can just leave whenever you want.
Poof.
The
really
exit
good.
button is always a great match for any game.
Yeah.
Okay, Jane, so we're going to get to your ciphers.
Yeah, I can't really find the cipher description. I mean, I found the 2 things, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so I think Zan has pretty great Google foo here, but
Apparently.
You're just Googling it. Okay.
Yeah, I just.
it's a good match because they've got a thing called the Cipher Guide that does give you some of this stuff, and then you can occasionally find like a Roll20 snippets. But let's go through yours together. We've got a machine control implant.
Yep.
So you can have the temporary tattoo version of this just like Zan, if that's what you prefer. The level is a
do
D6
enjoy-
plus 2.
I do enjoy tattoos. I have a couple of my own. Okay, I'm rolling. I'm sorry. 1d6.
Plus 2, yes. Okay, hey, no worries. It's going to last for a minute per cipher level. Oh, sorry, 10 minutes per cipher level.
Did not roll very well on that. Zan, can you roll that for me next time?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll try. I can't guarantee my dice cheat to anyone else, though.
Number 2 here is the Visage Changer. So it does kind of sound like something you already do. I don't know if you want to keep that as a freebie or if you'd rather just have something different. Oh, no, actually, this could work on somebody else. You might want this.
Okay. Yeah, to go along with my disguising abilities.
Right, but it says it changes the appearance of one human-sized creature. So, and it's really just an asset. So it's not going to automatically make everything better. Okay, let me copy this out. It's a D6, straight D6 is the level.
Well, rolling well so far, kids.
Well, it's not the end of the game. We have just started, and there will be other ciphers. I say you just throw them out as you go, and then that way you can just get on to some other good ciphers. You have to remember that in the game, everything is basically made of ciphers. So if you just go into the wall and take things apart enough, you're going to get some new ciphers. That's almost never an issue.
Nice.
Okay, so with that...
Just gotta destroy a wall in BD.
I mean, seriously, in the game, I have pretty much always seen players cannibalize their surroundings to get more ciphers. Okay, so let's go for character names real quick. Throck, you said your character name was Herrick with 1 or 2 H's? Or 2 R's?
One H, 2 R's, and a silent Q. No silent Q.
No silent Q. It's going to be one of those games, okay?
Yes.
Okay. I am updating the overlay. It is not doing anything bad to me, so I'm very happy about that. Okay, and Zan.
That's new for Roll20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, OBS.
Said with love. Said with love.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
My character is going to be Orwyn, which is Orwyn.
Excellent. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I think that worked out just fine. And Jane.
Yasma.
I like that.
Good.
It was randomly generated on a website, and I liked it.
Okay, and how is it spelled?
Yasma.
It's very nice, very nice. It reminds me of The Emperor's New Groove. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Oh,
It
I
makes
can
me
see that,
think
yeah.
of the lady
Totally.
in that. I think it's
Oh,
Yzma.
yeah. Yzma. I
Should
like Yzma.
probably be a nano, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't resize Throck's name. Just move it.
Dang it, Throck.
I'm the worst.
Yeah.
I'm literally the worst.
Well, as long as everybody else knows it too. Okay. So we are all set there. I am going to do the transition so we can actually see those things because I remembered. And now, in a few moments, we should get that up to date. And we're ready for actual gameplay to begin. Do you guys think you have any questions otherwise before we get started into this adventure?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Did we do foci already?
Oh my gosh, how about that? Let's do foci. Thank you. That seems like an important thing. I don't think we even did descriptors.
We didn't.
No.
Now that you mention it.
Yep, that is why we need people paying attention. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so character sheets. I'm in the game. I should be able to see that you have characters now. Okay, so Throck, did you pick your descriptor for Herrick?
I did irrepressible, which
that
feels
sounds-
ill-advised for 9:45 in the morning, but I'm going to do it anyways.
That's a good reason to do it right there. Okay, so a descriptor usually gives you some pool bonuses and maybe a skill or two. So irrepressible here tells us that Throck's character Herrick has a +4 to might pool. You get a +1 to recovery rolls, which is a really nice thing to have sometimes. And you
So does that
trained
make
in
me a
social-
+2 because the character sheet starts at +1?
That's right. And I don't know if the character sheet
Okay.
will update with that. So if it doesn't,
It did
I'm
not.
sorry to say you're just going to have to do that. And you notice that
was
you are enable on intellect defense tests.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
That
But
means that anything that's an intellect defense is going to be one harder. I don't
Okay.
pitch you guys. You guys make defense rolls when things happen. So intellect is not a good one for you.
okay. I'm smart, but I'm not smart.
Hey, at least you're going to recover well. That's going to be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and Zan, what did you pick?
I went with learned or learned, however you want to pronounce that.
Whichever one sounds like the most impressive
Learned.
as a learned
Learned.
person. Here we go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so plus to intellect, you get 3 knowledge skills of your choice. Okay, that's a lot of
Okay.
skills. And you get to be enable on charm, persuasion, and etiquette. Man,
Yeah, I'm an awkward person.
I feel like I'm living this choice right now. Okay, so good stuff. And then you can pick whatever knowledge skills you want. If you make them up on the fly, I'm cool with that too.
Okay.
And Jane, do you know what you want to do?
Yeah, I picked clever.
Clever is a good one. It's a classic. Okay, and I
What's
only fit-
interesting about that is that you're good at like figuring things out, but you're bad at remembering like really specific trivial knowledge. And with I ended up specialized through character creation on deceiving. She's gonna make up a lot of stuff.
I have a
She's
feeling
gonna
that you and Xan are going
make
to interact very
stuff
well.
up.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, and then our last part here is going to be foci. Do you guys all have your information from your descriptors input at this point?
I'm getting there. But
Okay, I don't want to rush anybody. So, Throck, do you feel ready to move on to focus?
I do.
And what did you pick?
Fuses flesh and steel. I decided to really lean into the delves. Like
Nice.
I am everything that I find, and it becomes part of me.
So cool.
Thing. And yeah.
Yeah, and as a general broad note, Numenera is 1 billion years in the future. So we are so far past cyberpunk and everything else. Identity is whatever you want it to be. And in this case, fusing flesh and steel just sounds super great, right?
It really does.
Yeah, so when we talk about a minor and a major effect,
Yeah.
a minor effect is rolling a 19 on a die, a major effect is rolling a 20 on a die.
Okay.
So if those things happen, expect to flavor the world to your tastes.
Neato.
So
And what
with
does
that,
enabler mean?
an enabler means that you don't. So there's two kinds of things. We have actions and we have enablers. An enabler lets you do something better. An action is something where you can take an action to do it, and you may make a roll as well.
Okay.
So,
Sweet.
yeah, it's a good thing that you're getting more recovery because you've got this problem where you have special healing as well.
I know. Wait, what's recover? Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. I do have special healing, but I have some repair parts. So we'll see what happens.
That is good, yeah. And you are a Dell, so fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, and Zan, what did you want to use?
I went with commands mental powers.
That's right. Okay, that's such a cool choice. Okay, so commands mental powers. Zooming in a little bit here, we've got... Okay, so your mind esoteries, you get a free level of effort on them.
Oh,
That's pretty great.
4.
Yeah. So, well, how it works is you only have one level of effort. So it basically means
Hmm.
you're never paying to spend effort on those tasks
Nice.
because you can't do more than that one level.
Hmm.
I don't know if you want that to change any of your abilities.
I might. You know what? No, I'll just keep what we have. Might as well.
Okay. And if you go back and take a look again while we're talking to everybody else, that's no problem too.
Okay.
We've got some additional equipment here, and then you're telepathic, so you can speak telepathically with people who are in short range. That's really cool. I don't think I read out Throck's level 1 power. I think I left that part off. Dun,
Oh,
dun,
I
dun,
just get
dun.
stats.
Yeah, you get armor and so forth.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. And then, let's see. Jane, what did you choose?
I chose wields words like weapons. I basically just made a bard. but my
Nice.
that's just where I ended up being today. But so yeah, I'm a talker.
Cool.
Um I have rather flamboyant clothing, cosmetics, tattoos, hairstylings for dramatic effect. But it's the tier 1 thing that we have, right?
Yep, that's right.
How others think. You have a sense of how people think. You're trained in one of the following tasks. Well, I'm already specialized in deception, so I chose detecting falsehoods from other people. So I'm trained in that.
Sounds good. Okay, so at this point, I think we are officially ready to begin adventuring. Do you guys have any
Yeah.
questions that would happen before that?
I think I'm good.
Okay, and hopefully I'm better prepared next time I have to do character creation with people. But I think that all took about as long as it should. So today's adventure is called the Nacreous Leviathan. Why? Because I think it's a really good tool for Numenera to just go on like a thesaurus and find different synonyms for things. It always works
Yes.
out really well. You all are adventurers, and we're going to assume that you know each other in some way that you're comfortable with. We can continue this as we go, but for right now, we're dealing with a colony that is called Neverdark. This is like an old mining station or something like that that kind of floats. It's built up of concentric rings, and it comes down to a point where it almost touches the ground, but does not quite. It sort of hovers in midair, and it is just off the coast, just off the shore. So you are very barely on dry land. But what has been happening in the colony of Neverdark is that there is a creature that they call familiarly the Leviathan. And the Leviathan is a great source of resources to the colony. It has a knacker. So see, I used all these words all at once, which is some sort of like, it's like a fluid or like a sticky secretion that the Leviathan makes. And the great thing about it is it dries to a very hard polish. Yeah, Jane, I was going to skip the connections if that works for
Okay,
you and
cool,
let you guys
cool.
kind of
That's
like.
fine. I just
No,
was.
it's great.
That's all.
I appreciate the question. So, going back to where I was at, because I'm easily distracted.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. I definitely want to answer questions. That's my first priority. We have this knacker that they use, and what the colony has been doing is they've been selling it to people and using it themselves to strengthen surfaces. If you were to, say, paint it or push it across the surface of a building, it makes it very durable. So it's been a very useful trade resource for them, and they get it very easily. This Leviathan just kind of hangs out in the sort of mid-air next to the building, and it's very easy for them to send people in. They're able to draw off this excretion and then just use it for commercial purposes. So they're very happy with the situation, but the Leviathan recently has been causing a lot of distortions, is the best word. It's not really waves, it's more distortions in gravity that make the colony rock and buck and move and so forth. And they'd really like somebody to go take a look and see what might be disturbing it. So, give me 1 second as I write a chat message. You have 2 people that you're currently communicating with as you prepare to set out on this adventure. One is named Vistha. Vistha is like an average size for a person. They have like a balding white hair. They're carrying a long metallic staff that has a faint blue light that glows at its tip. They only have one leg, and their other leg has been replaced by a prosthesis where it ends like at about a mid-thigh level, and it just sort of, it doesn't glow or emit light or anything like that, but it seems to keep them stable. So they move, and it's kind of a hobbling walk, but they move okay. The other person is Goulet, and Goulet is taller, wearing like a long flowing robe. They've got their head, they have no hair on their head, and they're wearing like a close fitting metal cap. And the two of them are standing here speaking with you. Vista is in charge of the operation of taking Nacre out of the Leviathan and selling it. Goulet is in charge of the people who live here on the colony. It's not a heavily populated colony. There is, at best, maybe 15 people. So, this is where you were at right now, asking whatever questions you might have.
What should we be visualizing when you say Leviathan?
That's a great question. I did not explain that part, so I have that just a little further in my notes. When we talk about this Leviathan, the Leviathan is like a large, like plated chitinous creature. And you can see a very faint separation. So imagining I'm going like this, it's like a bivalve type thing. And it's floating out in the air. It seems more flexible and more malleable than, say, a clam. But on the other hand, it does look very much in that vein.
It's just floating there in the sky.
Correct. Just floating there in the sky. This is a billion years in the future. This is not unusual.
Okay.
I'm sort of getting images of like Final Fantasy X's like sin concept.
Pretty much everything in every one of those games is great visual
Okay.
medium for this.
All right,
yes.
cool.
So,
See, I'm happy to go in. It sounds great. I've never been in a Leviathan before.
And tell me, how much will we be getting paid for this?
Yeah, money.
yeah, that's a good question. So the general currency of Numenera is called shins, and having something like 10 shins is usually enough to live on for a significant portion of time. Vista opens up a wide pouch. It gives it a couple of shakes like this, and says, "You'll be well rewarded. It's worth it. Don't worry."
What do y'all think?
Very well. It doesn't seem like they're lying, does it? I mean, it sounds like they've got a lot.
Well, having spoken to these two people, the money thing is definitely not a situation. Vista, you have the feeling he is definitely motivated by self-interest and greed. He does seem like a very greedy and covetous individual. Goulet, on the other hand, seems to be mostly concerned that people could be hurt.
Okay. Can work with that.
Okay. So with that, Vista taps the staff on the deck like this of this colony, and a small metal disc comes over towards you. Small meaning in this case about 10 feet across, and it just kind of like glides up alongside the colony. So you're going to have to take one step into the abyss in order to get onto this thing, but it's probably not that bad, and you are about to climb into a giant bivalve.
Yes, we are. I definitely
that's
hop over.
good.
Yeah, everything is sketchy, but you guys are trained adventurers, and you are going to be fine.
Fine.
I take a very interested gap there and hop over.
And there is no concern whatsoever. You're able to jump onto it. As you move onto it, you feel like a field take hold of you, and you can feel that you're being held onto this disc. There's no wind. There's no, anything like that forces-wise you have to worry about.
All right, yeah. I'll go ahead.
I do like when you get to the what could go wrong part of the adventure. It's fun for me.
What could go wrong? It'll be great.
I always like to lean into that personally. So,
Straticus with the big raid.
uh-oh. Hey, guys. Or I should say, oh, hi. I did manage to turn off the excessive Nightbot the screening for emotes, so luckily we're okay for that. Okay, so as we get involved here, what we've got... Thank you guys for coming and watching us, by the way. Sorry, I'm just to that DM who's easily distracted. And we are about to climb into a giant bivalve. They're going to be floating on this little metal disc out in the middle of nowhere into it. It's great. Okay.
Super exciting.
So here we go. We're into the description section of having a Nacreous Leviathan. So you are on a floating platform. It is moving slightly now with the three of you on there, but it's minimal. You can just feel it shifting. It's like one of those Bosu balls. And this Leviathan has an opening that's been built up. There are two of these big chitinous plates that have been forced out to a small angle like this, and they've built a structure of synth, which is anything that's like a plastic, like a synthetic type material there, so that it's wedging this open. It looks sturdy. You hear no sounds or no warnings as you get up close to it, but it definitely looks like something is temporary, not original to the structure. And around the edge, there is some of this nacre that you can see that's been excreted by the creature and kind of drips down it. The opening is just an open chasm into the mouth of this creature. Mouth, wall.
So,
Are we currently heading into the mouth of a mysterious creature?
yeah,
That-
yes.
Is the way it seems.
What are my life choices?
And that's a great point.
It's adventure.
It's a good time to remind you all that none of your connections have come with you. It is just the three of you.
Okay. I have adventuring gear. Do I need to like hook a rope and hop in, or can we just hop in?
The platform is gliding directly up to the door, and you're going to have that
Okay.
same take one step and you'll be on the Leviathan kind of connection.
Okay. Yeah, I squish right onto it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So here's
It's not that
a...
bad.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure?
No.
You know, I'm very much allergic to this kind of thing. I think maybe I should just head back.
Yeah, who's got the
No,
level
come
10
on,
teleporter?
embrace the
Just use
sense
that
of
now.
adventure.
All right, fine.
Okay, so here is a weird, like, a sense connection that I can use. I don't know if you all can. Have you ever felt the tongue of a bird? This is very weird to ask somebody.
No.
Okay, well, I've
It
had
feels
parrots
like
for
a
a
very
long time.
personal question.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. That's maybe not
Throw that
appropriate
out
for the
there.
stream. We'll not do that one.
Yeah, like
It's very unique because they have, like, it feels soft like your finger or something like that, but it also has kind of like a shiny, like, is the best quality I can think of to ascribe to it. So it's kind of like touching your fingernail, but not quite. That's pretty much what this feels like. It is mildly flexible underneath, but feels kind of like your fingernail. So it's smooth, it feels kind of polished would be a very good word for it. And you are now on board. There is a gentle animal scent to this. There's definitely something here that is, not human, but not really unpleasant. And in this cavern, you can feel like a little bit of an airflow coming out towards you. It doesn't feel entirely oxygen. There's definitely some exhale gases going on here as well, but seems fine.
do I sense so I don't sense any danger? I am in fact trained in identifying or assessing danger.
You are going to step into a giant creature, so let me not say it doesn't seem totally dangerous to you, but the air seems safe to breathe, the ground seems stable, you can actually hear sounds of people talking inside.
Okay, all right. Well, sounds like our biggest danger is other people. That is something I can handle. I head off.
If it was anything else, I might be more willing to do that, actually. But if you all are coming with, then I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, we got them. You'll be great. It'll be fine. We're good. Let's go. It'll be fun.
All right, off we go.
So you step inside, and the creature, the upper level, like the ceiling, if you will, of a creature, and the lower part, they both seem to be of the same fleshy interior, just like you'd expect. Again, kind of like if you were opening a clam or an oyster. There's no hard chitons, but it comes down into like very smooth tunnels. It seems like everything's just big enough for you all to walk in comfortably. You could raise your hand up all the way and you wouldn't quite touch the ceiling, but it's not much higher than that. Every once in a while, there are little nodules that are studded along the interior of this creature. They just come down to like a little bit of a fine point, and without sounding too gross, it's basically like a nipple. So on the interior of this creature, there's just these occasional points of excretion, and you can see that there's a little bit of this nacre that like runs down on the inside.
Herrick, what are you? Okay.
Yes.
Continue.
It's fascinating. Yeah. Yeah, and every once in a while he'll just like slap one.
Sure. And it's nothing's like really extending too far out or anything like
Remind me
that.
of some things.
Everything is, it's definitely organic, but it's not wet, it's not hot or anything like that. Everything's just kind of like a little bit above a normal room temperature, a little humid, and you're moving further in as you go like this. There are little light pots that have been set on the ground every so often, so you're able to see at a normal level of illumination.
Okay.
All right.
So continuing forward, you can hear those voices. It seems to be two people. One of them seems to be telling some sort of like body, slightly off-color joke, and the other one seems to be mostly going, uh-huh, uh-huh.
But is it a good joke?
Probably not. I'm gonna say this is like a level 2 joke if we're going on our like level 1 to 10 scale.
Okay. Ugh, I could do way better than that.
Yes, it's definitely true. So, as you not quite round a corner, but more just come down the passageway long enough to see these people, there's two people. They're wearing, let's say it's like a hazmat suit that fits better. They're wearing a long suit, and it comes all the way down to their wrists like this, and then they have long gloves that go over it. Everything is very close fitting to the body, so you can see that they're both, average build, neither too big, too small, and they're wearing a hood. It's not a helmet, there's no face or anything like that, but just a hood that pulls up over the top, kind of like a sweatshirt. And they are looking at the wall. They have a very large container, like one would put gasoline into, and they are holding it up. They have kind of a funnel apparatus that is attaching to one of these interior excretion points, and they are dealing with that.
Is that the normal way that this stuff is mined?
How quiet is that? Is that loud enough they're going to hear you when you ask that?
No, I would try and be pretty quiet.
Okay.
I would stage whisper.
I'm trying to think of like a logical like bluff that she would say. Well, normally they're mined in this absurd way, but I can't come up with anything at the moment, so we'll move on.
Should we talk to them?
You're welcome.
Well, it seems like we have to go past.
So we can just walk past. That would be my guess. My preferred method.
Okay.
We can probably just walk past. From what I've heard, none of the miners speak the same language as us, and they're all very ill-tempered. Every single one of them.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yep, totally true.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Then yeah. Let's do the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so you can speak at normal volume and they won't even know. It's fine.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You want to lead? Because I don't want to.
Oh, of course. Sure.
Do you any of you feel concerned now that maybe you misunderstood that very body joke that you thought you just heard?
I'm specialized in deceiving, so we can roll to see if that worked.
And I am gullible, so.
And I have really bad interactions with people, so I'd probably believe it.
Let's just
okay,
go with
well,
it
I guess I
now.
nailed it then.
Oh, I forgot one thing I was planning on doing system-wise that I did not mention and is important. In the Cypher system in Numenera, you have experience points. An experience point is very valuable during play because you can declare a fact, which is what they call like a player intrusion. You can make something happen. So that could have been one. That doesn't count towards it. Or you can re-roll. And re-rolling is the most valuable thing in any game. So everybody's going to start this game with 1 experience point, which is my way of saying thank you for coming out and playing. And basically, you have that experience point so you can re-roll. In the future, there's an excellent mechanic called a GM intrusion, where I would make something bad happen in the game, and the price for that is I will give, pardon me, 1 experience point to the person it happens to, and they also get to award 1 experience point to another player. So that's a nice thing too. It helps you build some team spirit and so forth as we do things, but that may come up soon. And so now you've been informed at least.
AKA something terrible will happen soon.
It is a role-playing game. No one's surprised when the dragon jumps out and breathes fire at you, right? I mean, well, in this game, actually, I would be pretty surprised by that, but... Okay, so as we continue on, just something to keep in mind is we've just heard that all these miners now speak a different language and also are terrible people.
No, just ill-tempered.
Oh, I'm sorry, ill-tempered people.
They're grumps. Yeah. Okay.
They could donate a lot to charity. They're just ill-tempered.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of
That
which,
could be you too. If you're feeling grumpy this morning, you could still donate.
Thank you for that, Jane. That's perfect. Okay, so Herrick is in the lead, correct?
Mm-mm.
No?
No, I believe it.
That was the opposite. That was Jane is in the lead.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And Jane, the command is charity, I believe, if you want to use
Oh,
that. I
smart.
know. I'm making everything hard. I should have aliased that.
No, it's fine.
So as you are leading the way, there are these two people. They're in the process of like affixing and doing something like this. They have two more of these containers down by their feet, and they are very engrossed in their work. So one of them is doing all of the actual work. They're up on a little step stool and they're, connecting this gadget. And then the other one is supervising. And we all know that that's the hardest job. They are deeply engrossed in that. So as they're busy doing that, there is a wide passageway behind them that has nothing to do with them.
It's this direction, and I just lead. I have no idea.
Oh, you were right. They didn't talk to us at all. Yeah. Okay, sweet. Let's go.
Good. Yes, let's continue. Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, so they just keep doing their thing. Everything's going really well. And I think I introduced that GM intrusion mechanic just in time. So, Jane, you're in the lead, right?
Yes.
Okay, and
Oh, boy.
I've got to start thinking character names. Yasma is in the lead. Yasma or Yasma?
Yasma. Yep. I said Yasma, but
Yasma. Okay, Yasma's in the lead. So
I picked the name about 20 minutes ago, so I feel like I mean.
I brought out my Cypher System experience point cards. Hopefully the focus is okay here. Yeah, they're very shiny. So one of these is for you, and then the other one is for someone else that you can pick, and then they will have one experience point as well. So who would you like to
Okay.
award an experience point to?
I will. I'll start with Throck.
Okay, and it's always
thank
hard
you.
going first, right? Because later on it'll make
Yeah,
more sense.
I
Sorry
feel
about
like
that.
I have to choose. Just for being gullible. I love it.
There you go. That's a good reason. See, because you get to like point that for some reason, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have an experience point, and the reason you have an experience point is because you are going first, and as you're moving in this corridor, as you passed these people by, and nothing really happened. If you had been looking in their direction, you would have seen something different. But since you're not, what you notice is suddenly the ground moves, and by moves I mean is not there. Suddenly, there is not a ground below your feet for just a second. So what we're going to have in this case is a speed defense. And actually, you know what?
Okay.
I'll ask you, how do you want to deal with the idea that there is no ground beneath your feet?
Well, I'm just gonna try and dodge out of the way. My speed's okay.
Yeah. So your basic options here are might is, punch it and or, somehow wrestle into submission. Speed is move around it. And intellect is somehow be smarter than it. And I think that's going
Yeah.
to work best for having no ground.
Yeah. So just like looking mechanically at this character sheet,
Yes.
am I rolling the green or the red?
That's a good question. I believe the green is a safe choice.
The green.
And so if you roll, you just push on the green speed for the speed roll. Now, before you make any rolls, I'm going to tell you the difficulty, and then you can also think about if you want to apply effort to this.
Oh, sure.
So
okay.
the difficulty
And then,
for this... Uh-huh.
sorry, quick question. The max column, do I have to worry about that at all? Because it doesn't seem to.
That's a good question. So I
line
think
up
the
with
ideal
anything.
way for this character sheet to be set up would be to start with your pool and your max being the same, because that way you can decrease your pool as you want to
Okay.
spend.
Cool. All right. Got it.
So with that, your difficulty is 4. You're going to have to roll a 12 or more on a die.
Okay. And so I would be spending out of my speed pool, and it's how many points of speed to lower it by 1?
So
2?
it is 1 level of effort costs 3 points minus your edge. So right now it's going to cost you 3 points if you want to lower that.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll spend 3 points.
Yep. And so now your pool is 9, and the difficulty of the task is 9 as well. So you only have to roll a 9 or more on a d20.
Okay.
Scrolling down, scrolling down. Okay.
I think I rolled a 15.
You did great. And the nice thing is it shows you the difficulty level, so that's going well. So here is what we see on the other side of what's going on. People's names that I can find in just a second. Okay, so what Orwin and Herrick see is that Yasma takes a step forward, and suddenly the ground shifts. You get this blurry kind of motion sensation, and her foot goes into the floor of the Leviathan, making no change anywhere else in anything else going on. Throck, I totally believe that's a thing. That's very much possible that I've got the wrong roll 20, or I wasn't scrolled down to the bottom. I don't know if it'll look better in a second. But going past that, we had Yasma's foot just kind of like descend into the ground, and she's able to pull it back just in time where this shifting stops and the ground becomes firm again.
With it.
Are
Uh,
you
that,
okay?
that was nothing. That was just one of my little tricks. Just showing off. Sorry.
Neato.
It's like the floor moved.
I did feel the floor move. Was that part of the trick?
You can make the floor move.
I just made it look like it moved because I moved so dramatically. That's all. It's just a trick of the eye.
What?
Just come on, it's perfectly safe.
I'm going to
Everything's
move
great.
forward with caution because that seems illogical.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gullible, but I'm not. I don't think anybody's that gullible. So I'm also going to move forward with caution now.
Yep. And Jane, yes, I think that went quite well. That's exactly what I would hope things are going to. So, yeah, you stepped forward, the ground disappeared. It's just you're out of phase somehow with reality, and it's come back. Everything is fine. And so you're moving forward with caution. And it does not happen again. The ground in that area, I'm imagining you would all probably avoid where you actually saw Yasma's step. Yeah. And
Yeah.
nothing. Seems totally safe.
See? It's just I'm very talented.
I believe you. I don't believe you made the floor move.
I'm sure there will be other things that we will need to continue to watch out for. So keep an alert eye out, but moving floors aside, I don't think we're going to find what we need here, so I say we keep moving.
Okay.
Okay. So you're in this outer area that continues with this very slight curve. You continue to see all of the same features. So there's the occasional excretion point on the wall. There are these little light pots as you go on. So everything's exactly the same everywhere you're moving in this place. And then there is a gentle corridor that leads inward. So if this is a circular type creature, you've gone from the outer perimeter and you're leading towards the interior. The corridor is thin, but not so much that it's uncomfortable, just enough that you can't walk two people side by side. There are, again, still lights, no more of these excretion points on the walls, and the corridor kind of like comes up into a fold like this. So it's a little bit taller, higher, and we're continuing off to the left if you go that way. Otherwise, you can continue to go forward and around.
I'm sorry, what was off to the left?
So this is a
And what was
branching
forward?
passageway, basically. So you're going
Okay,
to
and they
have
don't
like
look
a...
any different from each other?
Oh, no, they look a little bit different. So you've got the forward passage is basically making a circle around this, if you had to intuit what you're seeing. And then you have a way that goes to the left, which seems to go inwards.
Left seems like a good idea. I don't think we need to continue to go in a circle.
Certainly.
When in doubt,
Let's-
always go
let's-
left.
Let's do that.
Let's go. Left it is.
So you go ahead and go to the left.
Squish.
Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry, I just want to make a message forward to the next channel, just so they know. Okay, so we talked about what you're doing, going down to the left, and we talked about how this has gotten to be a little bit smaller, a little bit more confining. You're definitely going towards the interior. Everything is still the same like level of solidity and warmth, and like it feels, again, like hardened. Nothing's, wet or anything like that. We're continuing in this direction. As you go forward, the walls themselves start to have kind of a color change. Whereas before they were, let's say, like a color of my hand, pink. Now they're getting towards more of a reddish color, and there are occasional branching like lines that are going through the wall.
This looks like an infection.
Without using so many words.
Ooh. Watch out! It's probably contagious to humans. Don't breathe in the air.
There's no way that will go badly.
Hmm. Are you quite sure of that? How
Always.
much
I'm always sure.
how much training do you have in Leviathan biology?
All the training you could possibly have.
I see. I see.
What? You both seem so credible, and I am so confused right now. Better safe than sorry.
I will admit that it's not my area of expertise, but if you say so, um, uh, perhaps we should find a way to not. Are you sure? Are you truly sure?
Well, if you want to risk it, feel free.
So we can make any number of rolls against Jane or against the general situation if you prefer. Any of these sound good.
I would like to make a perception roll.
Yes.
Actually, I was thinking the same.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
do that.
Do you want me to roll deceiving? Is this a contested roll situation? Like, what is the...
That's a good question. How do you feel about this, Throck and Zan? Do you feel like you're more concerned about what's going on in the area, or do you feel like you're trying to point this more like, does that sound credible?
Mine's area related. I want to know.
Mine's credibility. Being learned. I'm concerned about the level of knowledge that is being given to us.
I feel this on a daily basis. I know what you mean. So with that, let's go ahead and make some rolls. Okay, so if we're looking at our character sheet, Yasma, it sounds like you want to roll your deceiving skill.
Yeah.
So, what I wish this character sheet had was a way to roll a skill by pushing a button right there. But that's okay.
Right.
I don't think that happens. So I think what you're going to have to do is roll an intellect test and then know that we're basically going to bump whatever your result is to. I think the easiest way to deal with like player versus player things is to figure out what the highest difficulty you beat is and then add to whatever that is with your assets and your skills, and then we'll compare difficulty levels that people achieve.
Okay. So, I am specialized in deceiving.
Yeah, so this is a +2
So-
levels at this point.
Okay. So there's an
Wow.
intellect roll.
Okay,
Dang.
so level 8 would mean you need to roll a 24 to beat it.
Okay.
And in addition to that, this is something you are unable in, correct, Sam? Or is it... No, you're okay on deceiving, right? You can handle... like deceiving
Yeah,
lies.
it depends on exactly what you would like it to be. I'm trained in perception.
Yeah.
But if it's anything involving like persuasion or etiquette, I am hindered. So if she's trying to persuade us, then I'm definitely not going to be well on that. So I will say,
Let's say that this is going to be like an even roll, because it is a negative
Okay.
social interaction technically. So,
Okay.
yeah, you're basically rolling a d20.
all right.
If you wanted to apply effort, or if you wanted to spend things on it, you could, but there's no requirement to, of course.
Yeah, no, that's a.
I
not
feel like
gonna-
I've already thrown this well off course.
Hey,
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's okay. No one has to breathe air. That's just one of those things they tell you.
I spend a small amount of time considering the words given to us by. Did you say Yasma? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yasma. And after at the veins and considering the possible side effects, I slowly cover my mouth.
Okay. If you're willing to indulge me a little further.
Please.
I'm going to spend 2 intellect to morph my face so that it looks like I breathe differently. And I'm not sure how I would accomplish that. Like, I don't know, like gills or like a filtration system or something.
Oh my
So that it
god.
looks like I am breathing differently. And then I will offer to whichever one of you wants it. I have my visage changer. I'm not going to tell you that's what it is,
Oh no.
but I will offer to give you the same effect. One of the two of you.
It's like Survivor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel well equipped to handle dangerous things. I don't need magic-y changing. I'm not comfortable with that.
I will take you up on that, actually.
Okay.
Anything that a cipher can do to help me in this situation, I will gladly take it on. By all means, thank you. Thank you. This is... Yes.
Okay, yes. So I will use the visage changer,
Mm-hmm.
and it will last 10 minutes to apply. And so I say it will take some time. I have to do some serious spellcraft over here, but to change your basic breathing functionality. But it will last for longer than a day, so you will be safe in here for 28 hours. And no harm will come to you from breathing in this infection.
My favorite part is the image I'm getting of Herrick standing here trying to hold his breath for 10 minutes solid while this goes on.
Yes. I can...
Oh, this is why you play role-playing games, people.
While they're doing that, I would like to do my own investigation of this weirdness.
Yes. Now, another thing just to think about in general. When you find something that is unusual and seems above the norm, that is going to be a Numenera, or a source of possible Numenera. So if you, as a
Oh.
delve, decide that you want to delve here, it doesn't even have to be, terribly gross or anything like that, but you may be able to find Iotum.
I will be doing that as well,
That's
because who doesn't want iota?
Yeah,
I want at least one iota.
that sounds good. Okay, so we have... Yasma is currently... She has changed her appearance. Do you have an idea of how?
So I'm thinking maybe like gills would be an easy thing. So like maybe on my cheek or something like that would be a pretty easy way. If you think that is imitating another species, then I will put the effort to it if you want.
I feel like this is something that's still reasonable and fun, so let's
Okay.
just go with
Okay, cool.
the 2 spend.
And it's not
then...
imitating anything specifically. It's just meant to look like I have functionally changed my breathing apparatus.
Sure, sounds good. So from our 2 spend with your 1 edge, you're down to 1 spend.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then...
So I only spend 1 point. Okay.
Correct. And for you, it only takes 1 action, right? Or something like that?
Yes, it is just an action.
Okay.
Well, the visage changer is 10 minutes. For
Yep.
me, it's 1 action. Yeah,
Yep. So that's the long one now, is with Zan taking the time to carefully mold and craft. How does this cipher work? What does it look like, and how do you use it?
I guess I don't know.
We're gonna have to make it up then.
So, I think it's, I mean, is there any guidance on how ciphers look? I'm just not familiar with, like, are they little machines? Are they little, like, weird little crystal things? Like, what?
It's a great question. The answer is yes, and all of the above are great because we're a billion years in the future, and if you think something would be cool,
Okay.
it is good.
Okay, I like the idea of it being kind of like a mysterious sort of crystal to keep up this whole, like, I'm doing magic right now illusion.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So with
And
that,
you don't feel anything, to be clear. You do not feel anything.
All
But
right.
eventually gills appear on your cheek similar to mine. And that appears to be the only difference.
And I feel like that's the perfect place to take our break so that we take just a moment for people to, refresh themselves, get ready, and then we'll come back and we'll find out what Herrick has found while he has been delving around. So if you all are prepared, I'm going to transition over to our break screen. Here we go. Okay, we'll see you guys all in a couple minutes. And now I have to push OBS buttons.
I don't
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
worst. I
My cat has
have.
made a couple of appearances at this point, trying to eat the sunflower behind me.
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
background. Yep.
we're all back, everybody. We are having some good animal time to help us decompress a little bit as we continue our play. So I have a dog that has longer fur than this, but it's not like so. Weird. It's like if you've ever seen a long-haired Jack Russell Terrier, they are weird creatures. They're basically
Yeah.
small clouds of sheep that are also dogs. And what it likes to do is to get underneath the lemon tree. He likes to do is get underneath the lemon tree and collect all of the cobwebs he can find, and then get all of the leaves stuck to those he can, and then get brushed out and washed for the rest of the day.
Moose is real scruffy. He really needs a haircut.
We've all been there.
Good boy.
So with this, we're continuing to play, and the last time that we were paying attention to what was going on with our characters, we had Herrick, who was off trying both not to breathe in this very harmful aerial toxin, and then also trying to find out what sort of things he can find in this building creature.
Yeah.
So one thing that you immediately become aware of is this creature at some point has been more than just organic. It's either possibly been enhanced, or maybe it's just built out of something that's more than just like a normal organism. It might be bioengineered. It might be naturally evolved in this way, but there are plenty of things that could be easily removed from this creature that don't seem like it would affect its day-to-day function in any sort of significant way.
It's like me, except if you remove my stuff, it would
right.
harm my daily function. Okay, so I'm gonna try and pull some stuff out.
Yes, that is how it works. So as a delve, is there a particular roll you need to make, or do you just get stuff?
I have a salvage Numenera roll. Is that what I'd be looking for?
Yes, that
Because
does
there's
sound like what you
no
want to do.
power. It doesn't appear. It's just like get free stuff. Sadly.
Basically, that's how most of the abilities in the game work. They're more like skills than they are like discrete powers. If it doesn't have a cost, you're totally fine on that.
Okay. Yep. I do not.
Would you like to roll for your salvaging?
Mm-hmm. What could I roll? Might?
That's a good question. How do we want to salvage? Do you think that you are focusing on breaking things apart, or do you think that you are carefully removing them? Is it something that's somehow speed-based? I don't know what that would be.
I feel like, given his inabilities to craft and understand Numenera, he's more of a might-based salvager. He grabs a thing, he pulls it off, and goes, "Oh, look, neat, shiny. What does this do?" Well, if it was connected to that thing you just pulled it off of, oh, okay. Yeah, that's how I feel he works.
Sounds good.
Does he do the thing where he pulls it off and he's like, I don't know what that is? Psh.
Yes, he would absolutely do that. 100%.
Excellent. And we're dealing with a being that excretes like a knacker, like we were talking about. So if you can imagine like pearls inside of an oyster, there are some things that have been kind of like something has run down the wall and sort of excreted against it, and it's hardened. So you have something that you can very easily physically break that doesn't seem like it would damage anything, but might have things inside.
Thanks. Yes. So because there is this knacker, as a description for my character, he has kind of half of him is fleshy, and the other half is kind of this green gold. It moves like flesh, but it's this metallic sort of green gold looking skin instead, and he'll use his more metallic side to grab them because it's achy.
That makes sense. Now this knacker is fully hardened, so in order to salvage these Numenera, you will have to make a might roll.
Okay. So do I just make the might roll and then we figure out after?
Correct. Now you're skilled, so you're going to get a level there. And now if you want to apply effort, you can apply effort at this point before the roll, and you would say you're going to get that level. So let's see. You have a might edge of 0.
0.
So it's going to cost you 3 points. So you've right now added 2 levels to whatever you're going to do, and you should go ahead and make that roll when you're ready.
So it'd be a 6 then, right?
Very nice. So that's going to be some significant harvesting. So you break this knacker, it easily falls apart. Are you breaking this with your hand, like a crushing thing?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So you crush this knacker, and the little remnants like fall out and dribble down. Now, in the book, there are some very good descriptions of types of iotum, But because of the fact that we're playing a shorter game, I would like to say this is going to be something you can iodize into anything you need. So what
Okay.
you have found is you have a very useful kind of universal component that people use. It's actually perfect for your cybernetics. It's like a plug-in with a USB port type apparatus. So it's a power cell that could be used for any number of purposes.
Got it. I found something.
Oh,
Hold,
what is
I'm
it?
doing serious magic.
Oh, sorry, I'll
Oh,
try
yeah,
to
right.
stop moving. I am interested in what it is that you have, Hera. So,
It's
is
a
it
power
supposed to
cell.
tickle like that? Okay.
Um, Okay. Is it? You gonna be done soon?
I
Just
would.
a few more minutes to install this filtration system.
Okay.
Okay. Have have fun with that. I don't like to just generally assess the surroundings, like just a straight up like perception. See if I'm missing something.
I made a mistake there. I took a large bite
You
right
put
when you
food
said
in your
something
mouth?
was perfect.
Yeah.
So, you are making a perception check. Let's go ahead and do that.
That'd be intellect, right?
It is going to be an intellect skill. And are you trained in
I'm gonna.
perception?
I am. And so I'm also going to use an edge,
Love it. So,
or yeah,
apply effort. Yep, and you're using it.
yeah. I'm gonna
so-
apply effort. Yeah.
And you have an edge of 1, so it costs you 2 points. I love the fact that you guys are just
Yeah.
going all in on rolls. That's the way to play this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Spend stuff.
Yeah.
So, love it. Let's see this great roll.
This was a 3.
The good news is when you read this, it's a 3, which beats a difficulty of 1. If it had been a 1, I get a free GM intrusion, just so you guys know how that works. So
Okay.
look forward to the ones. Okay, so you're 3 plus you're trained, so you're hitting a 2, which is really all you need for the difficulty. The easiest
Okay.
thing for you to assess in this area would be these veins or lines that are traveling through the creature where the redness has kind of increased. It is in front of you. And it seems like this passageway is going to narrow and kind of bend to the right, and the lines trace around that to both sides. Are you going to continue in that direction?
Yeah, once they're done screwing around with whatever's going on with the mouths over there, just put a cloth in front of your face. Come on, let's get adventurous.
I need to have my hands free, so this is the next best option.
Okay.
It's true. I think probably. I mean, do you think 10 minutes have passed at this
Yeah.
point? I mean, kind of
Ding,
dug in.
it's
Okay,
been
cool.
10 minutes. We're good to go.
Yeah. So I say, voila, there you are. You shouldn't feel any difference to how you breathe, but it will be filtering it for you as you do so.
Thank you. This is wonderful. I do not have to worry about this contagion.
As a note,
moving
I don't
forward.
think you feel anything different. I think it's just an illusion, right?
Yep. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I would still just kind of like, oh yes, good. Yeah. Yeah. No sense. Good.
Good stuff. Okay, so
All right, what is this thing you found?
Oh, it's just a power cell. You plug it in, and he like has a little power port in his arm, and he goes, "Don't see," and like lets it dangle for a second. Puts it back in his pack.
I would say it's a model that Orwin has definitely seen many times before. It looks like one of those fairly common models of Power Cell. Maybe one of these people who've been working here inside of the Leviathan dropped it.
Huh. That's a relatively common one. My guess is that you just found something that someone else has discarded. But if you can put it to use, wonderful.
Another man's trash. And I'll happily lead us this time.
Okay. It's a very easy path to follow because of these red lines that are tracing along the walls as you move. And this redness intensifies. It's getting to be kind of like a glowing, burning type color, not feeling. It's not getting any hotter in here. But as you continue around the corner, you can see that the walls look more inflamed. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And as you get around the corner, there are moats. Specifically 2 moats kind of floating in the air. They have a kind of a puffball appearance, like if you can imagine dandelion fluff and or a very wispy sea urchin. And they're just kind of floating in the air.
I would like to scan them.
Yeah.
use that. I'm trying to. That would be. Is that a roll,
I think
or do I just
scan.
spend the intellect points?
Yeah, I think you just spend the 1 intellect because it's a 2 cost, correct?
Yeah,
And
right.
so I believe that is all you have to do.
I will. Hold on a moment. Let me concentrate. I might be able to tell us something about these if I focus on it for long enough. Give me just a moment, and I take the time to scan them.
So we're doing that. It's within a short range. That's easy. It's a 10-foot cube. That's easy. So you've got all of that. So let me just read through this really good. Okay, we're all set. So this took an action. So it's basically just a period of time. And these are not organic. They seem to be, at the very least, constructed. So these are like a metallic and a synthetic substance. They're floating around. They seem to have an independent programming. They're doing something on their own. And the thing that you notice is whatever is going on, they have like a static electricity or some sort of field around them. And that seems to be irritating the walls of this creature.
I'm not 100% sure what the purpose of these things are, but whatever it is that they're emanating to be harmful to the Leviathan's innards. Innards, sure. Innards.
Oh, and one other thing I should mention here, these 2 orbs through your scan, this isn't 2 separate creatures. This is one binary type organism or unit.
So we're taking inroads to the innards. Currently.
That's how it's working.
That's your dad joke of the morning. There might be more.
It's good stuff.
Good. Yes, good.
So, what do we? How do? This is what's causing the problem?
It's possible, but if nothing else, it is not helping. There could be more.
Do we ask it to go away?
Let's see. We could try to communicate with it, yes. Would you like to try to communicate with it, or?
Hello, fuzzy thing. Not fuzzy, floaty thing. Can you hear
great.
me?
Yep.
It's not what I would have said, but
Eric.
that
It's
works.
gonna go well.
I try to touch it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Ooh.
That's probably safe. Yeah.
So you're trying to touch it, and you feel, again, like a jumping sensation, like of energy passing from it to your fingers. Is that enough to stop you from touching it?
Yeah. It probably would be.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's got a serious charge on it.
That charge will probably give you additional powers.
I'm
I
going
highly
to
doubt.
refute that and say that it will probably hurt you, depending on
I also-
how close to it.
Yeah, I also think it'll hurt me.
You could be Leviathan or something.
I think that's a fascinating take you have, but I don't want to risk it. Not in the middle of a giant hunk of meat floating in the sky.
I hadn't thought about our situation like that until now, and I'm horrified by that now.
You really should be.
I don't know. Sounds like a Saturday in Numenera to me. But
Okay, so if this is causing, how do we get rid of it?
Well,
That is an incredibly good question that I'm not sure that I have a distinct answer to.
I'm sure I could find an answer.
Could I use right tool for the job to create a one-use item, because that's what it is, right? You create a temporary device that disperses the electrical charge on this.
Sure. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay.
So
I
with
have an
this-
idea.
Okay.
How do I do this?
Yeah, so you're using right tool for the job.
Uh-huh.
And let me just real quick read what you need to get. What's the roll going to tell you? Is it going to tell you how high your roll is? Da-da-da-dun.
I don't think it just says 1 intellect plus 1 iotum.
Yep. Okay, so you have a power cell that is in your bag.
Mhm.
What it would basically allow you to do in this case is you think that you could make the two charges cancel for that moment,
Yeah.
which would disperse all the electricity. This creature is a level 3, so I'm going to say that
Okay.
you need to make a intellect roll against a level 3.
Okay. Well, I'm certainly going to boost that. What is it? You spend an effort.
Correct. So, yeah, you've got the 1 cost for your right tool for the job, which
Yep.
means nothing, because you already have an edge there. And then
Yep.
for your intellect, if you want to make an intellect test here, for this you're going to spend 2
Yeah.
points. And right now, we're ready for your roll when you are. You got it. No
There we go.
problem. So it's almost like you stick the battery to the creature, but it's not nearly so crude. You've done some modification. Yeah. Do you think this is something that uses your internal cybernetics, or do you think it's something that you've just really quickly broken?
The way I thought about it was like there's a lot of techno babble, but really what it comes down to is like he plugs it in to himself, and he kind of like flexes his muscle in his like metallic side, and then like licks the USB port, and then goes, yeah.
And the charge around the creature, you can't see it, but you could feel it before, and it just stops, and this thing falls to the ground. Both of these balls just fall to the ground.
Yeah. There we go.
Wonderful.
Chucks the battery. Yeah, use that. I have to find another one.
I'd like to go take a look at these things that are now on the ground.
Yeah, definitely.
I was
These
imagining.
are like
No, go ahead. Sorry.
these are like creatures and beings of some sort, not
Well-
necessarily like.
They're metallic. They may have some internal programming and their own intellect and life and so forth, but they're not made of organic matter.
Okay, so if I wanted to investigate them further, would understanding Numenera be a particularly good thing, or is it going to be something a little less specific than that?
No, let's stick with your good skills. Let's say they are Numenera.
Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm trained in that, and I will use, assuming that I need to do. Okay, I'll use effort or edge. I'm sorry, I don't remember which is the
You
particular-
apply effort because you have
Apply
an edge.
effort.
It will be less for you.
less. Okay, so I'll apply level of effort. Wrong way. And hopefully we'll make that work. Oh, yuck.
Okay, but you're trained and you applied a level
Yes.
of effort. So the great
Yes.
news is that's plenty. It was only a difficulty of 3.
Awesome.
So super good stuff. And these creatures, they have these spiny protrusions and so forth, but they're not like they're supposed to be pokey, although they definitely are. They really seem to be more to disperse a energy field around it. And then they're binary, so the 2 pieces are definitely necessary. They need to be connected. One of them by itself does nothing. 2 of them together, maybe that's how they generate enough processing power or whatever else. But there is a sentience and an awareness that goes into these things when they are activated.
Okay. It seems as though if we were to separate these 2 things, we might have a better chance of keeping them from doing whatever it is they were trying to do down here.
I do believe in breaking up binaries, so we should continue to do that. That is actually the first thing she has said that is not a lie. I think.
It's a good choice.
Good.
I'd like to try and salvage real quick on those, just to see if there's anything useful that we can make use of to continue destabilizing and decharging these binaries as we move forward.
Okay, so we've separated them so they're no longer going to be able to create this field. They won't be operating independently, but now you actually also want to break one, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're using all the terms. So we're going to salvage Numenera. You want to do it through might?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's a one-shot, and we're only here till noon, so I'm going to spend 3 points to boost it.
There you go.
To effort it. Yeah.
That's right. And you guys can always do that that first one-action recovery roll whenever you want. Okay.
What does that do?
That lets you re-up your pools.
Oh, okay. So I got a 5.
Yeah, 5 is great. So you have broken this component down, and let's say that you have 2 iotum at this point out of this.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for breaking. So, with that,
You're welcome.
it is broken. The pieces have come apart. Everything is there. And because of the fact that you're right there breaking this stuff, this is a point where I hold up these 2 cards again. And it means the game becomes fun. I can't tell if this one's upside down. It looks like it is. Okay, so with that, Herrick is now subject to a GM intrusion. He gets an experience point. He has 1 he can award to someone else.
I am going to award it to Orwin for helping guide me through the weave of deception, even though my character doesn't know.
And what has happened is the redness is decreasing these walls slightly. So you notice that as this is happening, but the floor is going out from underneath you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a speed test.
That's a great choice, I think.
Jump.
So our difficulty here is 4.
Would my perception play into this?
That's a good question. There is actually a separate skill for speed defense just to make your life more interesting.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm going to say in this case, probably not. But,
Okay, that's fine.
yeah.
Like I didn't. Okay, no worries. So I am gonna spend the 2 edge, or the 2 pool for the effort, and let's see what happens. Yeah. What?
So you did great. You got more than enough for what you need. The floor, as you are taking this thing and crushing it in your fist, you gather the 2 iotum, which is like a power cell and like a processing core. And as you take those, you realize suddenly you are not standing on anything. And in that brief second where the floor is shifting and moving underneath your feet, you're able to very quickly move how? How does it look?
So with the lightning reflexes, because my my foci is actually, I'm faster and stronger than the average person. I reach out with the metallic, like the nanometallic side of myself, and my fingers kind of stretch out a little bit, and it like grabs, and I pull myself up.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And you are totally safe and everything is great, and you have managed to not fall through the nothing.
Ah, you saw through
Yes,
my
what?
trick.
Why did you try and drop me into nothing?
Oh no.
That's not cool, man. Like,
Look, sometimes my power gets away from me. I apologize.
And what is your power exactly?
Everything.
that doesn't make sense.
Seems incorrect,
Jack of all trades.
but master of none.
Master of trying to put me in a hole.
It was an accident. I apologize. Let's move along.
Seems mean. Well, we're stuck in here together, and it's fine. Just don't do it again.
I make no guarantees.
You're not helpful. Made a note of it.
Okay. So do we want to continue down the passageway?
Yes.
So we're doing that. And as you move forward, the passageway again, the same sort of branching red lines that you saw going in the direction you walked, they are now going in the opposite direction for about the same distance. And this path is now kind of bent. It went around like this, so it's kind of following that outer circle, but parallel. And now as we go in a little further, it starts to bend towards the left again. And you see something different here. There is a valve that's going like this, like a breathing apparatus, or maybe a heart type apparatus, something where there's an internal closure that's moving like this. The walls of the valve seem rather strong and made of a fairly tough muscular material. So moving through this is going to require speed or might to be able to pass through, maybe a really persuasive intellect roll. But this is next in line for things you must deal with.
Well, I take a look at this and say, I don't think that I'm going to be fast enough in order to make my way through that. So I might just pop over to the other side. I'm considering using my teleporter.
Oh, really?
Oh, neat.
Mine as well.
Yeah, if you want to, that is absolutely something you can do. That requires no roll.
Unless anyone else has an idea how a slower person might be able to make this through.
You're gonna have to trust me on this.
I don't know if that's something.
I have an object that can put you into a stasis form while we go through this valve, and then I would obviously release you.
I'm concerned that you had to say obviously you would release me.
Well, I just wanted to drive the point home. I can
I'm
hold.
just gonna run through.
I can hold one single creature in this square, and I have a little small square, and it would hold you, and then I could release you when we get on the other side.
I'm going
It's up to you. It's up to you.
You know what? I'm going to decline your offer. Thank you for it. The breathing apparatus is serving me well at the moment, but I'm going to pass up on that opportunity that you've offered me. I might just try running at it. And if something bad happens, well, then I'll manage that when I get there. I think I need to test my mettle a little bit. We are on an adventure, obviously, right?
We have made 2 Pokemon references so far, which I think is great. So, all right, Herrick, you were already running through this, correct?
Oh yeah.
Pew!
Fast as I can.
Yeah, it's a speed test.
Yeah, we're gonna spend the points on that.
Okay.
Cool. And I don't have anything else that would help, so just the points, and then boink, and then ooh.
Minor effect. So let's talk about how awesome this looks and why it's because of Herrick fusing metal, or what is it? Fusing flesh with steel.
Yes. I like to think I'm actually a secret race of nanomechanical beings who was fused with flesh, and not the other way around.
Yeah.
You're kind of a big deal.
So you're running, and what does it look like? There's this valve that opens and closes like this.
Yeah. So what happens, I think, is to keep literally half of me disperses into a cloud of nanites, which moves faster than the rest of my body. And so it looks like one half of me, the nanomechanical side, is pulling my flesh body through.
Yes. Heck
Nice.
yes. That is how we play Numenera. All right.
Nice.
It is great, and it looks as good in the cinematic view that we have as it sounds like it would look. So that's perfect. All right, Zan, are we going to have Orwin trying to run through?
Yeah. I'm gonna.
I will
attempt
stay
this.
back in case this
So-
fails. I can help.
Go.
Orwin takes a step back and sees how Herrick has just kind of morphed him through. Considers the timing, takes a moment to think about it, and then makes a bolt. So I will spend a level of effort for that. So it'll be
Is this
3 since I'm on the edge.
is this something I could help with, like also analyzing sort of the pattern and the timing of it to like be like, okay, here's the tempo, like go now kind of thing?
Sure. Let's do that. So if you want to say that you're trying to make a roll or do an assist or something like that, I am fuzzy on my Numenera details, so I think the way that you can do that is basically you can make a effort spend, and the effort will be on behalf of your friend. Another way you can do this is if you'd prefer, you can wait and see how the roll goes, and if it doesn't go well, you could spend the experience point on behalf of Zan.
Okay. So I could use like my lucky break intrusion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Actually, that sounds really dramatic, so I will do that. I will wait and see if we need some XP.
Cool.
All right. So I will spend the level of effort in speed to make that roll.
Ooh, very nice. And you just, how does it look?
So Orwin to kind of like do it, like hesitates, and then like just makes a bolt for it, and just as the doors are closing behind, makes it through and kind of eke through on the other side, but it doesn't quite get him.
It's great. And yeah, when they close, I mean, the nice thing is it feels so non-specific. It's not pointed at you or anything like that. It's just, this is a door that continues to open and close. So no mind is paid to the fact that you've just escaped this trap.
Nice.
Okay, so that leaves
Nicely
one.
done.
You made it look easy, but that was as hard as I expected it to be. Thank you for going
You
first.
made it look easy. Yeah, absolutely.
Are you coming?
I kind of want to use a lucky break intrusion, so I'm not going to make this roll easier for myself. I'm just going to try and do a speed roll and see if I can make it through, and if not, I will use an XP to get a lucky break.
This is a good choice. They're all fine choices.
Okay, so just roll speed.
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
Well, you made it. So,
did I make it? Okay.
yeah, you didn't even get to do anything super crazy. So,
Oh, man.
how does that look?
I think like she stands back and like gets a hold on the pattern, like I was saying, because her intellect is quite high. And I'm imagining like if you've seen Galaxy Quest when they're going through all the all the obstacles, they're like, okay, go now, go now, go now. Like that's what I'm imagining. So watches for the pattern, and then like kind of you can see her kind of going along with it, and then eventually just like goes through it at the right time and comes out on the other side with a bit of a flourish, like easy.
No, it's good. Yeah, it's nicely done.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
you're all safe. So you're on the
There was probably a
interior.
somersault involved.
Sure, why
Just for
not?
flair.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you
Little
know
bit
the
of
timing
flourish.
is, so you know you've got that extra half second to do a somersault. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
So, good stuff. Everybody has made it through. You're in an interior chamber that is roughly circular. You know, everything is more organic than it is perfect here. And what you see is that this room, first off, has a lot of these binary creatures, these like sea urchin type floating balls in the air. And second off, there is something that is hard and rounded in the center of the room that's coming up like this, and it's covered with some of this nacre. So there is some sort of thing that is in the middle, but all of these balls, there are now, instead of 2 being 1, instead of there being 1 unit, there is more like 10 units that are floating in the air around this thing.
Can I make the assumption that these work similarly, that they have to be all connected to function properly?
They do seem identical to you, and they do seem like they're hovering in units of 2. So like you
Okay.
see a pair going by, and then you see another pair over here going by, so they do seem to stay connected.
Okay. Oh, well, this is not what I particularly expected to find, though I can't quite say what it was I was expecting to find,
No.
now that I think about it. However,
Yep.
do these things seem malicious in any way, or take in any way aware of us being here?
At this point, they do not seem to be aware of you all being here. They do seem to be very centered around whatever this nodule is in the center of the room.
Okay.
Just every once in a while, you see like a pair floats by, and it kind of skips against this hard surface and floats away. And then they're continuing to do something like that.
Okay.
Are there more red veins in here? Does this
You know
place
what?
look irritated?
That's a great question. Looking around now, you realize the entire interior of this chamber is more that color, and you don't even see the red veins because it's almost all that very bright, kind of inflamed surface.
Huh. Okay, so obviously this is some sort of Leviathan disease.
Or Leviathan parasite, maybe.
Maybe.
Should we break down some more binaries then?
We could. I'm also very interested as to what it is they're floating around in the center there. Is it something I can and also scan?
You can definitely do a scan. Scan is definitely something you can do.
Awesome. specifically on that the center thing that they seem to be near. So I
Okay.
will spend that.
Yep, you get a big old cube. So the good news is you're going to find out about a lot of stuff. So you can tell that the floor of this room is the natural interior of the Leviathan, like you've seen. There is a heavy layer of nacre that's excreted around something in the middle, and that something is a cybernetic computer electronic organism. You can't really tell if it's a creature or not a creature because everything has a certain level of intelligence in this room, but it is definitely a functional and computing device, and it is giving off some sort of energy. So you can tell that as well. It's active, whatever it is inside of that nacre. And also, all of these dual binary type things that you've seen before, they're all the same thing you saw the first time.
Okay. I'll just relay that rather than trying to repeat it. I'll relay that to the other party members.
What's in the knacker?
I'm also interested in that, but I wonder if it's not something that's in some way controlling these binary globules.
Yeah.
You just want to smash it, don't you?
What? Oh, only because I want to know what's inside.
Well, yes, but still.
I mean, yeah, the smashing's fun, but might be something cool inside.
Oh, I can almost guarantee it.
Okay, so how many of those little binaries are in here?
So I
believe-
said 10 pairs before?
Yes.
And they're kind of all rotating around?
Yeah, and they do like a dust floating thing where they kind of skip against this nacre surface and float back up.
Okay.
There appear to be some floating around that are also invisible. At least 10 more pairs.
What makes you think that?
I have special senses.
How do you see them with your special senses?
It's some of the same magic that I've already demonstrated.
Oh.
So just be careful. There's one floating near your head at the moment. You should probably duck to the left.
I don't.
My left.
I nearly touched one earlier, and I could feel an electrostatic charge. If there was one close to me, wouldn't I be able to feel the electrostatic charge now?
Depends on how close.
Well, if it's not that close, I'll wait till I feel it then.
All right.
And that's how we'll know. If you start to feel the tingly, there's an invisible one near you. If you don't feel it tingly, there's no invisible one near you.
These invisible ones seem to move faster than the others, though, so just be aware.
I'm beginning to question your knowledge.
That's awfully convenient.
Question me if you want. If you end up shocked, it is not my fault. I warned you.
I think I'd be shocked if I got shocked.
I would agree.
Yeah.
How would we like to proceed
Yeah.
with this? Because I have a feeling in order to this Leviathan, we're going to need to take business.
Yeah, so I have an idea about this actually. I've got these those things, right? I feel like I could maybe create a remote timed discharge that would
Yes.
allow us to depolarize enough of them to provide a gap for us to get at the nut in the center.
Actually, do you think any of these are devices that could be controlled?
These?
I have an implant that can help control devices
Hmm?
that can activate or deactivate them.
Yes, you do.
That
If it's a
Might
Numenera
work.
device. It can go up to relatively long range. Would this be something that could be piloted?
That's a good question. Are we referring to the device that's in the knacker, or are we referring to the binary machines?
Well, so here's what I was thinking, is perhaps we could control one of the binary machines to, like, fly into the knacker and try to damage it or something. But I don't know if that's a thing.
You are welcome to try whatever you would like to try. So far, you have seen several of them make contact with the knacker, and none of them have broken
And
through.
it's fine. Okay. Okay. All right then. It's something to consider as an asset that we have.
Yeah.
In addition to my magic senses.
which we are actually unsure of whether or not they exist entirely or not. Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that you have skill. I'm more questioning whether or not you can make the floor move, or whether or not you actually see invisible floating spheres.
I do this.
Unadvisable.
I think you're okay for right now, Herrick.
I
Do
also
we want to
think I'm
try?
okay.
We want to whatever combination of things that you had, Herrick.
My electromagnetic pulse device? Yes.
That one.
I would like to try that. See what happens. See if we can turn some of them off. So yeah, I will use the free intellect I would need, plus one of the iotum to create an EMP discharge device.
Okay,
That
that sounds good.
Chuckable.
I
Hoping
think
for
what
a
we're-
larger area effect.
Yeah, I think what we're looking for here is the intellect roll you're going to make, which you can use Salvage Numenera on, is going to be...
Oh, nice.
Why not, right? Is going to be the
Yeah.
level of the device you create.
Okay.
These beings
So I'm
as a-
spending the... I stepped over here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say these beings as a group, they are using what like the mob rules for Numenera. So they have a level, which is
Yeah.
2 higher than an individual. So 3 is 1, 5 is all of these guys.
Okay. Well, then I'm definitely spending the 2 intellect points for effort, plus the salvage Numenera. I'm wondering if I can get creative with something. I'm looking at what I have here.
Excited.
It doesn't look like I don't have any other available. What is responsive synth?
That's a good question. Is this supposed to be like your armor, or what is that? Like your
It
clothing?
says I have 1 extra unit of responsive synth.
Ah, okay, so that's another iotum for you, it sounds like.
Oh, okay. If I use
Oh, you
more
make
iotum,
industrial
can I?
music in these settings.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's right.
if I use more than one, am I limited to only using 1 iotum for my power, for my right tool for the job, or can I make it more complex by spending more iotum on it?
I definitely want to say yes to this. I think you should do that.
Okay, so what I would like to do is use the responsive synth, because you told us synth is a form of plastic, right? And so in my brain, responsive synth is a plastic that will respond to some sort of outside stimuli. And so what I would like to do is, as I'm creating this tool, I want to make it a sticky bomb or a sticky device. And so essentially what happens is as long as I get close enough to one of these things, right, the responsive synth will literally reach out and grab it and will create the effect around that and hopefully hit a number of them.
Yes. Yes to all
Do
that.
you want to be able to remote activate it?
Oh, it's got a timer.
It's got a okay. Okay.
Boink. Yeah. And then I just make the roll, right?
You do. You do just make the roll.
Okay. This was really
Time, of
complicated,
course.
so hopefully it doesn't screw up.
Ooh, it's good.
Nice.
It's
So
very
that's
good.
a 7. Yeah.
Well, you better talk about how great Herrick is, because we're going to be talking about how he knocks out all of these beings or machines all at once.
Do I get to narrate that? 'Cause
Yes, please.
So
Do it.
it's chain lightning, essentially. What you see is it actually the EMP discharge device. I chuck it between two of them, and the synth reaches out and grabs both, and it discharges. And you just see it kind of like dominoes go between all of the different ones that are around the nut in the center, and they go. Neat.
And it's that simple. They just all bump.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
Do they like light up a certain color when they go, or like how does this not an explosion, but how does this what does this look like, the actual what's going on?
It looks like you see those little pictures of static electricity, like where it's like right, it's like that except larger. It's like lightning going between them as they'll lose their charge. Yeah.
And is it kind of the bluish lightning, or?
I feel like I want it to be green because that's my theme for this character. So it's kind of greenish gold.
Yep.
That's rad.
That is
Yeah.
really great. Gotta love that.
Little
Okay, so yeah.
firework display.
And
Okay.
yeah, they're just all down. Everything else has remained the same. You've still got this nacre-covered nodule in the center of the room, but nothing else.
Okay. There we go. Ta-da!
Very nice pyrotechnics.
Thanks.
Fancy. Right, so do we want to try and separate the pairs again, or shall we not worry about it at the moment?
I don't know if they turn back on or not.
All right. Well, if they do, we can deal with it then. Let's take a look at whatever this thing in the center is.
Yeah.
So, we have this nacre. You're pretty aware of how everything in this room is composed because of your previous scan. And there is some sort of activated electronic inside of that. But that's really what you have, is you have a big, like a nacre sphere that's like the size of a Bosu ball, and then something below that.
I broke open the last one. Anyone want to take the honors?
I can try, but I have a feeling you're stronger than me.
Strength isn't the only way to do things. You're probably
right.
smarter than I am.
That's true. Could I could argue this as an intellect roll to try and see where the Nacre might be the weakest, or have an area where I might be able to take advantage of some sort of flaw in it, maybe?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. And I will spend a level of effort. And that. Oh, man!
Life was going so smoothly. Now, a reminder, you do have experience points, so you can re-roll that.
I can't.
And I'm sorry, what are you rolling to try and accomplish? again?
To see if I can find a way where I might be able to get the knacker off by like finding a weak point or like an area where it might be thinner or something like that. Sure, I'll spend an experience point to re-roll that. Let's try that again. Hey, that's
Ooh, so
Whoa.
much better.
completely different.
0 to hero over there.
That
Nice.
is the best part of having an experience point right there. Okay, so this nacre has dripped down in a very natural fashion, and it's much denser at the top than it is at the bottom. So your solution to this is actually pretty simple. You flip it over, and you find that the bottom is actually almost entirely exposed. There is such a thin layer that you can just crack it with, like a hand tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I flip it over and just kind of like, oh, and just, a small little like screwdriver kind of thing and chip away at it to get at the underbelly.
Excellent. So, I'm kind of glad you didn't use up your free GM intrusion, because then I don't get to do this to you. So, hey Zan, how's it going? I got you something. And also, you get to give somebody one of these as well.
I will give it to Ayasma for constantly keeping me on my toes. Because otherwise I probably would have not have been so cautious in approaching this.
It's good stuff. And I gotta say now, in playing with 3 people, I'm again remembering how hard it is to hand out an experience point to only one of 2 other players. That's some social pressure there, and I apologize for my part in that.
No, I don't feel bad. It's cool.
So you've cracked this knacker, and this electronic gadget is exposed, and the first thing you notice is that it seems to be telepathic or mind controlling in some way, because the mind it has become intensely interested in is yours.
I
I
wonder.
Yeah, you're going to have some sort of intellect defense here, because it seems to be trying to control your mind.
Awesome. I am trying to go back through, and when I looking at commands mental powers, if I have any extra stuff in that. When you apply effort to special abilities that control minds, you get a free level of effort on the task. I don't know if that would apply to this or not.
Totally applies to this task. Let's do that.
Awesome. So that's an intellect, I assume.
So it's intellect. You've already got your effort, so you don't have to do anything. You can't do any more there. But then if this does not go well and you have an experience point, then you're already set for that.
Awesome. So I will roll away and see what happens.
Okay, so 3 is not great. There is definitely that mental pressure that's coming towards you. It's up to you if you want to do something about that.
Yes. I will. Oh, where did it go? Hold on. Where is losing everything? I was looking at. You know what? I'll just re-roll it. I can't find what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Da.
Ooh, and you are set. That is exactly what you need with your free level of effort. So
Wonderful.
Nice.
There is a strong, it feels like a pulse, and for a moment there, it's redirected towards you, and you can feel it like seizes hold of your mind, and there's like a battle there that's going on for just a moment, but you are trained in commanding mental powers, and you're able to block it out.
You see Orwin kind of grimace for a second and then stare intensely back at this object, and eventually kind of have a nice smug smile.
You
Good.
seem very pleased.
Yes, it tried to mentally control me, but I'm stronger than it in that respect, thankfully.
Oh, did you get any sense of its personality at all?
Good question, did I?
I'm going to say yes to that. We'll definitely do that. And also for Herrick and for Yasma, would you like to make a quick perception roll? Difficulty's only 2.
Sure.
Probably not worth a spend.
Yeah.
Well,
We're just rolling bonkers over here.
yeah. Do you have cybernetic scanning equipment?
This is what
scanning
happens.
the
Whenever
room?
I play in a one-shot, I roll really well, but in my long-term campaigns, I just roll garbage.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just
Right.
doing the awful roll to awesome roll constantly.
I know, it's really showing Roll20's strong suits here.
Yeah.
So you're both just
Never
amazing at seeing everything. And while Zan has
Can see for
cracked through this
miles and
knacker,
miles.
yeah, what you notice is in that second, all of the walls relax visibly. So they just like slacken for just a moment. And additionally, there is that slightly out of phase thing happening again. Like it doesn't happen under your feet, but it's like the walls go a little bit out of phase. In that one moment where Zan is mentally battling with, I'm sorry, I said Zan, Orwin is mentally battling with this device. Orwin, you have the strong sensation that this device is intended to lock you into a certain frame of mind. So it wants to keep you in like a stasis state.
Unlike me, I would release you from it.
Well, even so, which remains to be seen, I wonder if this device here wasn't keeping these floating shock spheres here for some reason, keeping them from continuing on. In any case, it wanted me to stay here and not do anything else.
It wants a friend?
I don't think that's quite the way I would interpret that. I think it wants a thrall.
Oh. That's less good.
Yes.
Well, that's its problem, not ours.
Anymore, anyway.
Yeah.
Do you think it could do that again?
It's highly probable. We haven't disengaged this in any way. I just was able to resist it long enough to
Right.
tell you what's going on.
Just to clarify too, the influence that was exerted on Zan seems to have been redirected somewhere else. The device is not powered down in any way.
Okay.
With my crit, am I able to figure out where?
Yes, it is re-exerted upon the Leviathan.
Does it feel like there's a change within the Leviathan? Well, you told us, I guess, that it's starting to quiver phase shiftily.
And that has now stopped.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder if this device is keeping the Leviathan here so it can be harvested. Maybe.
How do we talk to it?
Well,
Is this an intentional thing? Are the people in charge of harvesting this, have they intentionally installed something to keep a Leviathan in check? Or is this an intrusion of a different order?
So, rewinding back to the beginning, you remember that you met two people, one of whom was in charge of the harvesting operation and one who was in charge of the
Right.
colony directly. The person who was in charge of the harvest operation at the time struck you as being very covetous and very, like, obsessed with this process. And at the moment thinking about these things, you could definitely see him doing something like this. He seems like that sort.
Yeah. Well, I have to admire his ingenuity. It's impressive. It's quite the apparatus. Could be very useful, really.
are you suggesting we take it?
I'm suggesting perhaps I take it.
Oh, see, there is a difference there.
No. This is a living creature, and it doesn't deserve to be controlled by anyone.
Oh, I don't want to control the Leviathan. I have no use for that.
Yeah, but you're gonna use it on something else, and it's gonna be awful. We should destroy it.
I could attempt to. Well, that might go poorly, but I was going to say I could attempt to talk to it if it has any sort of minor sentience.
You know, I do still have that box that can put something into stasis. We could give it a taste of its own medicine.
Ah,
Yeah, but in the end, then you're still keeping it. It's just in your box in stasis until you want to pull it out again.
I mean, obviously I wouldn't use it on either of you, so what's the problem?
But Yeah, because it's all about just the three of us. That's what.
I under-
I. Go ahead.
I understand your concern, Herrick, and I agree with it.
Like how plain spoken that was.
I'm,
Sean saying that.
I'm realizing that's Orwin is very straightforward, very plain spoken, very blunt.
Well, we should see if we can enter. If we, I think I would like to interact with it.
I would
Now,
caution you to be careful.
See if we can figure out what it wants.
with it the box or with it the Leviathan?
The box.
Okay.
So I sort of approach it, and I don't know. I guess try to draw its attention.
Sure, sure. At some point, it's going to come down to it's a machine that has a telepathic interface, so you're going to have to do something that interacts with it in that way.
Okay. I don't really have telepathy. I mean, I have my link senses, but it has to be a willing creature, and so presumably I would have to like persuade it.
Why not, right? Why not?
Oh, you know what? I will use actually, okay. So one of my intrusions is familiar insight. It says you know this person well enough to have insight into what will work to persuade them. And it says a few other things, but
Sure.
that's one of the things. Can I use that on this?
Yes.
Like the machine?
Yes.
Okay. Then I will spend an XP to know like a plant, like a way to get it to interact with me and like be interested in what I have to say.
Sure. It is the future. It is 1 billion years from now. Machines and people are somewhat interchangeable. And yes, you have an idea that this thing seems to be very focused. It seems to be very drawn towards the idea of exerting control, and it doesn't even want anybody to do anything except to stay in a particular mindset. It would be almost like like the sleep machines where they try to get you into REM sleep, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a machine that
Okay.
wants to do something similar to that.
Okay. Do I have any idea of how to like reach out to it or like interact in a way that I could talk to it?
I would say if you want to use your link senses, if you're spending, if there's an intellect spend involved with that, it's probably going to work.
Okay, yeah.
There is. Yeah,
So
let's
I
do
will
that.
I will do that then. So I'm spending, it costs 2 intellect, I have 1 edge, so I spend 1 more intellect
Okay,
to link senses for a minute.
excellent. So here's the thing. This is apparently not so much a direct-like control mechanism as it is a relay. And what you are getting is the sensation of something somewhere. You're not really sure exactly where this is happening, but there is a control unit. And the control unit is telling you to exert effort or apply effort. Now I'm using Numenera terms. To apply effort on the Leviathan to coerce the Leviathan to excrete Nacre. And you're basically aware of the fact that this control mechanism is pushing the excrete Nacre button over and over again like this. And this is what keeps the
Okay.
Leviathan in this stimulated state where it's continuing to do so.
Okay, so cool. It also says I can see, hear, smell their senses or anything like that. Do they even have senses? I mean, it's a machine.
Yeah, so you're aware of the fact that it is properly functioning. The machine is doing what it's supposed to. It's releasing the correct energies in the correct way. That it is properly connected to its control unit, and that control unit is being currently operated by something that is actively doing this rather than passively doing this.
Okay, so this isn't the source of the problem for if you're looking at it from the Leviathan's perspective. This is just like a node in a system that's doing this, right?
Yeah, this is a machine built
Kind
for a
of thing?
specific purpose that is doing its purpose. As to how the Leviathan feels about it, that part you're not really clear on.
Sure. Okay. So I sort of pull out of that like connected state, and I say, "Well, I have learned a few things." I'm trying to decide how honest she's going to be. Okay. Well, I have learned that this is part of. It's sort of a relay of some sort of connection, and that somebody is telling it to control the Leviathan and keep it in a harvestable state.
So
Oh.
is inflaming it, and I would imagine causing discomfort as it tried to swallow us multiple times, in order to just harvest its gunk?
Yes.
That seems to be correct.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Well, one thing is that I do not have a handle on how the Leviathan feels about all this.
Given the inflammation and irritation that we've seen all the way down, I can only imagine that it is unhappy with the situation.
So, yes.
So one other thing to note is that there appears to be somebody on the giving end of this command, or something.
Really?
Elsewhere.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I do too, but
What's your
please.
idea?
I was going to talk to the Leviathan and see how it felt about them.
Ooh, talk to the Leviathan. Let's find out how it feels about it.
Also, I can say this machine is very effective in doing its job very well. So, kudos to the machine for doing exactly.
The machine is following it. The machine is doing its job, but the job is maybe not something we want it to continue doing.
Right.
I would like to try and use telepathic to try and speak with another in a short range. And considering we're in the Leviathan, I hope that's within short range.
You are currently speaking to the Leviathan. The Leviathan has a nebulous intellect, unlike what you're used to thinking of as being a humanoid intellect. It seems very passive and very patient. It's not thinking about a moment, it's thinking about things, and it's living, and it's breathing, and it's existing in a scope that you're not really familiar with. But you've seen minds like this. It would remind you of like one of the great cetaceans in the ocean or something like that. Something just too calm and too long-lived. But there is also a needling discomfort to this Leviathan. Like if you can imagine like when you have like a little scratch in your mouth, or when something is underneath your nail, or you get a splinter but you can't quite get it all out, there's a continual sense of something like that.
Leviathan seems calm, but is minorly irritated.
So, on the one hand, I feel ethically opposed to anything that would control another being like this. It's not an unthinking machine. It obviously
No.
has thoughts.
Isn't your entire life based around harvesting this material?
Knacker?
Yes.
No, I delve. I look for Numenera and mechanical bits.
Oh,
and
sorry,
create
I was-
neat thingies. Yes. So my concern is that I feel like that's unethical. My problem is it feels like it's only moderately unethical because it doesn't seem like it hurts it that much.
I think perhaps another question is, if this Leviathan, if this status were changed, right? If this system was disabled somehow, who on the human or humanoid side of the equation would be negatively affected by this? How many people make their lives off
15.
of this?
Did you say 15?
15 that live in this colony or whatever, but presumably there's a broader economic impact to taking away a huge source of material.
Trickle down Nacronomics.
I feel a little dirty.
Ooh.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep, we've gone there.
Yes, good.
So my gut says I stick my hand inside the box with my Nito phase glove, and I send a feedback loop to whoever's controlling this.
Okay.
because I'm angry that they're
To
essentially
to make it seem it's constantly doing its job even though it is not.
no, to punish the person who has decided that
Oh,
they
I
they
see.
could tell this being what it's supposed to do.
I
Okay.
see.
Did you do that?
But this is the problem. I don't know because it's also the lifeblood of this incredibly small community.
And presumably the small community like trades with other communities, right? I mean,
Yep. Definitely something that happens.
yeah, they're not absolutely isolated.
No. What do you guys think?
I think the economics of it are difficult to ignore.
I also
And oh no,
go ahead. No, by all means, go ahead.
And I think it could be possible to track down the person responsible and perhaps discuss with them their methods.
Yes, actually, yeah, but because my brain always goes to a technical solution. What if? I think you're right. I think we really should talk to him about how ridiculous it is that he thinks he can do this. But also, what if I was able to create a device that allowed it to continue producing nacre without the discomfort,
I
making it more humane, but humanoid.
I think I could get behind that if that's something that you could do. My problem with it is that I do believe that, as you said, the Leviathan, its production of nacre is very important to this colony. At the same time, though, I feel like someone is trying to make a few extra shins by over extending the reach of what this Leviathan is capable of doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I do. All right, I'm gonna do the thing with the phase glove.
Yes, I think if we meet the person responsible, we could probably end up with a few extra shins, if nothing else.
Okay.
That sounds
So,
great.
goal of the phase glove action is you want to send a feedback pulse to the person controlling the object.
Yes, and I want instead of this to become inflamed, I want him to become inflamed.
Okay. Do you have an experience point left to you at this point?
I do.
That happens.
Oh, neat. Okay.
We are in the closing 5 minutes. I am going to make sure we get these
Okay.
things done on time, unfortunately. I hate to do that,
Yeah,
but you have done that. Now, here is your
Okay.
final piece of business to deal with. As this machine stops doing its normal function and begins reverse functioning, you notice that the Leviathan is doing its shifting again. And I'm going to say that Orwin is still telepathically connected enough where there is a strong impulse for the Leviathan that it is seeking home.
Oh, it wants to go home.
You get the feeling that is not in this dimension.
We might want to leave. The Leviathan is probably going to completely phase out at some point if it is able to.
And it's doing this on all the walls and the floor.
I have
Can
a
I
travel
s-
bubble. Oh, go ahead.
Can I spend an XP for a lucky break and have the Leviathan like be really uncomfortable and maybe like upchuck everybody who's like, currently?
Yes. Yes, you may spend an experience point to be expunged from this Leviathan. That valve that you saw previously, there's kind of like a rolling floor motion, and you get pushed from the valve down the side, and it begins tilting. And so you are all sliding out that original entryway you went, which was kind of forced into the shell. So you hear this cracking and splintering as the synth starts to break, as you are sliding down this slippery slide down into it. And there is that floating circular platform right there. And as you go out of the Leviathan, you feel yourselves get sucked into the field of this disc, and you are held in place just enough to not fall. And the disc, apparently being on some sort of autopilot, goes "Meow," and begins taking you back towards the colony as the Leviathan continues to shake and disappears.
Did it expel the other folks in there, the ill-tempered miners?
That is a really good question that you don't see an immediate answer to. And as this platform is slowly blooping along towards a colony, you feel something else very unusual. There is a wave of energy that is not visible. You can just feel it passing beyond you. And as it hits the colony, you see the colony, and the colony begins going and is fading just a little bit.
Is it taking the colony with it?
It is a question that we are going to answer in our next session.
Nice.
I hate to be
Good
mean to you all
cliffhanger.
because I enjoyed playing with you so much, but that is my lead-in.
Good cliffhanger.
So things I
All
apologize
right.
for. I may have made a disclaimer about this. This is possibly like a body horror thing that I may have. I don't know how everybody feels about being in a giant mollusk, but I think I probably could have described that better. Otherwise, I don't know. You guys are all fantastic, and I love you all, and I hope you enjoyed playing in the Cypher system because I think you all did a great job with it, and I like the way you played it, and that was so much fun for me.
Yay.
Yeah, first time having played this system. I am a fan,
You know,
and you did a great job running. Thank you. This has been great.
Yeah, it was
thank you
super
guys.
fun.
It was really, really great for all of you to come out and play in the game. I appreciate it so much. If there's anything feedback-wise you want to share with me later on, I would be very open and receptive to that feedback. In this 5 minutes, I apologize because what I want to do is get you to have a chance to talk about yourselves, plug the charity one more time, and prep for the stream that comes on at 9. So I apologize for my very short time here. Throck, would you like to talk about yourself?
Yeah, it was awesome. By the way, thank you so much for having this, and thank you so much for doing this for Campfire Relief. I think that's awesome, and for introducing me to Numenera to begin with. So yeah, just I'm deeply appreciative that you're doing this, and I got to be involved, and it was really really fun. So thank you. Hey, I'm Throck, also known as Sean. You can find me at Throck Plays on the tweeters. I'm the co-founder of Welcome to the Party, which is a Welcome Party RPG on Twitch. We are an inclusion and equity focused channel that teaches people how to stream and then gives them a place to do it. We have games like almost every day. And yeah, come say hi. Thank you again.
Yeah, if anybody does not subscribe to Welcome to the Party, you should. I love them. They are excellent people. They help me out in this. I can't even imagine how much help I've gotten from this. And Zan.
Yeah, if you want to find me on Twitter, Sawdust, and yeah, this has been really phenomenal. Again, first time playing Numenera, and actually first time streaming, oddly enough. So yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, so thank you so much for making this such an awesome experience for me on a first go on just about everything with this. And thank you, Hans, for like just making this whole charity thing actually happen. This has been a lot of work for you, and it's been absolutely wonderful that you've done this for such and ever more important cause.
I have had so much help and support. I feel like I'm not really doing very much at all, and I really appreciate you all for doing your parts. Jane.
Yeah, I'm Jane. You can catch me on Twitter at CellarDoor10. And I've played on at least one Welcome to the Party one shot before, in which I was a very silly jock fighting some zombies. That was super fun. Yep, it was great. It was like that midnight to 4 a.m. slot. It was lovely. Rain was on that one, and Abigator. It was great. And then, but normally you can find me on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Central, over at twitch.tv/roll control, and that's ROLECONTROLL. And I play a character who very rarely lies. So this was a fun little departure. So.
Yeah.
And rolls terribly. She rolls really bad.
I apologize for having no command set up for shoutouts. If you guys want to leave any links in chat, you are, of course, more than welcome to do so. What I'm going to do at this point is roll in the break screen, and then I'm going to go ahead and disable the audio. So we'll have a short break here for people who are watching. And at about 9 o'clock, depending on how long my bio break takes me, we should be ready for our next game. So thank you, everybody. Pardon us as we step out for a moment.
Oh, can't